Hello, my friends. How are you doing? There we go. Sunday again. Time is really flying. So today we should have a special guest talking about video AI. I'm really looking forward to that. Let's see if that works out or not. Otherwise, if it doesn't work out, you can show me your video projects. We can also play around a little bit or look into Pika labs on Discord, things like that. So that might also be interesting, and talk about video AI in general and the things that can be done. So let's say hello to some people here. Hi Chit Buddha, hi Tyler, how you doing? Hi Renegade, hi Mark, hi Aloha, hi Asael, how you doing? Hi Strange, hi Nick Corey, hi Dream State, hi Jeff. Nice to see everybody. Very good. Thanks for joining. Let's see if some more people gonna join. Pika is, I really like Pika, especially because you can do as many videos as you want. Right now, it seems to be a little bit overflown with people, so the creation of videos seems to be a little bit slow at the moment. But yeah, we will see what we can do today if I show you a little bit of it. And yeah. So that's pretty cool. Also, by the way, yesterday there seemed to be some pretty much confusion about the video that I posted yesterday, which I understand because the software is pretty confusing. I didn't completely understand it myself, to be honest. So this kind of swarm, stable swarm UI thing, multi-GPU is referring to using GPUs on multiple systems, not having like, I don't actually know anybody who has multiple GPUs in one system, like multiple graphics cards. Is a little bit rare, I think. It might be cool to have that, but most people are like already on their limit to buy one GPU, so I'm not sure. But you can potentially, of course, rent multiple GPUs online, or you can use your old computers, or you can use it over cloud for different systems like Google Colab, like Dream, what is it called? Dreamtime or something? The Stability AI, like anything that has an API, right? Could potentially be used as a GPU online. And then you can render multiple images like on different GPUs, not one image on different GPUs, but like if you want to render 50 images and you have like 10 GPUs, you can spread the workload so every GPU is rendering 10 images, right? If you have 5 GPUs. What did I say? 10 GPUs, 5 GPUs? Something like that, right? Is Roop legit? Yeah, it's pretty good. I really like it. It's Roop or row up, I don't know how would you pronounce that, is the problem with that, it is rendering an image onto a body that might not look like the person. That is the only limitation of that. And also it only works with faces who look in a certain direction, but that also is like standard for Stable Diffusion in general, because it just can't create too abstract like face rotations. Like if you look like this, it's gonna be a problem for Stable Diffusion, right? And also for Roop or row up to apply a face to that, right? So if you want to really recreate a person, Allura is a better choice for that, because it takes the body into consideration and other parts than just the head or the face, right? Hi Spaceman, how you doing? Hi Paolo, thanks for joining. Hi Informa, how you doing? Malcolm, hi chat. XL is still new, going to take some time to evolve. Yeah, it's I think also it's way better than 2.1, especially you can already see like the community adapting to it, using it. I'm not sure why the community didn't pick up as much on the 2.x versions of Stable Diffusion, because it also had higher resolution and more parameters, so you could potentially create more realistic and better models, or not realistic, but more accurate models, let's phrase it like that. However, that wasn't really picked up too much, but now XL is picked up a lot by the community. There's a lot of excitement about it, so that's pretty good. And yeah, Roop is now also available for video. I will check that out and make a video about that soon, because that is also, of course, like a huge potential if you can just like take a photo and then apply to another person's face, a little bit of deepfake, basically. optimizer did you use? Oh, okay. That's a different conversation. Webcam face swap. Yeah, you can already do that with TikTok filters and stuff like that. Let me see where my guest is, because he is kind of, well, hopefully still coming around. He's on a trip, so it might be a little bit delayed that he is joining. And he knows a lot about video AI, so he can show us different examples, use cases, experiments that he've done, stuff like that. So that's going to be really interesting. In the meantime, I could pull up. How would we do that with video AI? You can actually upload the videos, because now I have upgraded my Google Drive. I have 2 terabytes now of space on Google Drive, so you can actually upload your video files. We can look into that. I hope that is not a bad idea, but let's see. Oh, the guest is coming. 1 second. Admit. Hi. Can you hear me? You can
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You can probably not see me because my camera is on the Google stream, and people can't see you right now because I have to switch you over. 1 second. And I hope this works.
I heard you say I knew a lot about video AI.
What?
I just heard you on the stream saying your guest knows a lot about video AI. I'm still learning myself.
Well, that's okay. Don't worry about that. Oh, we have to turn on the. Sorry, the people couldn't even hear you.
Okay.
Wait, this is not correct. Oh no, now they can hear that. Now they can see you, and I'm down here in the corner. And you're really big on the stream. You probably want to turn down the sound of the stream, not of your speakers, but of the stream. So, or I don't. Well, it's okay. It's okay. I just heard myself a little bit, but I think it's okay. Let me see where the edges of the screen. But I think this should be okay. Where is the?
How do I get to see what you're sharing or what? I see me.
Well, you're the one doing the sharing today. I'm just like, yeah. You're doing the screen sharing, and like last time, you showed different kind of options of video AI. So this is Retropunk AI. He's big on Twitter, and you can follow him there. And he's doing a lot of experimentation with video AI there. Right. Maybe I should put myself in the other corner, because it seems to be my channel icon directly in my face. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
For not being available earlier to do this, to set this up a little bit.
No, we just started. Don't worry, we just started.
Okay. Yeah. I just jumped on. So.
Right. Wait a second. I'm going to go to the big screen real quick, just to search for your Twitter, so we can share that. How do I click on that? Man, the Twitter has the worst UI design ever. That is.
X, right?
Yeah, X. It's gonna be my X social media platform soon, because that is ridiculous to use that. I never liked Twitter, but yeah, now that Musk is on it, I like it even less.
I only used it this past year specifically for this AI stuff, like just experimenting and things like that. Pretty much all I use it for.
There you go. I shared your link a bunch in the chat. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't want to show that. 1 second. Sorry. Anyways, I think there was no secrets. Why is my camera back on the other side? Oh, I can. Interesting. Well, it's okay. Okay, good. We can get started.
So can you hear me okay? Everything sounds good?
I think so. Can the people in the chat, can you hear him well or not? There's a delay, so I'm not sure if that is it might take a while until they answer. But I think they can hear you, because I can see the volume. I can push you louder here. So now
it's hard for me to tell. So I know sometimes, because it's pulling up off my laptop, so I didn't want to use my headphones, because sometimes the Bluetooth
he's
gets
echoing. Oh shit. 1 second. Let me put on my headphones so I don't have sound on my microphone. I didn't even think about that. 1 second. Echo. Yes, echo. Okay. 1 moment. Put it like this. Okay. So now I hope the echo is gonna be gone. Let me see. The sound should still come from the microphone. Is the I can't hear it. Let me turn off the sound for both of us real quick, or for you. Let's do it for both of us.
That sounds
all right.
fine.
So I hope now the echo is gone, because there shouldn't be any sound from the speakers anymore, right? Can you say something?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's only on my headphones now, so there shouldn't be any sound in my. He was echoing. Yeah, because it's coming into his voice is coming from my speakers into my microphone. But now I hope it should be good. All right, so you can do the screen sharing.
Okay.
More cowbells, please.
Let's see here.
Okay.
All right. So if I can present, I'll do my whole screen, and hopefully that'll be good.
The guest is creating echo. Now it's nice. Okay, cool. Good.
Okay.
I have no idea how to put these little videos away so people can see the full video that you're showing. Oh, now it's better. Sorry. Okay, I figured out. So now they can't see you anymore, but they can see your screen.
Okay, so what I did was
by the way, very short question: is it possible to change your screen resolution to 16:9? Otherwise, they see like a little stripe, but it's okay. Let's leave it like that. It's okay.
I'm afraid to do that. I might lose connectivity.
Right. Okay, let's just leave it like that. I will make myself a little bit smaller, so now people can't see you, but they can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think you found me because I posted this clip. I'll make it big.
They say it's still a lot of echo.
Oh, yeah.
1 second. But where is the echo coming from? Because I'm wearing headphones.
I could try using my headphones, but I might have to reconnect. You want to do that?
No, if you plug it in, it should automatically change over.
Yeah,
let me just check this.
Give me 1 sec. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay, I will check my phone real quick to hear the echo. After the advertisement, come on, please. Oh, and now he's gone, of course, so I can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, let me just set. Yeah, give me 1 sec. Hold on.
All right. Okay. Can you say something?
Can you hear me? How about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you can hear me. Hold on.
Oh, now it's now it's delayed for me too. 1 second. God damn.
Yeah, let me just set. That's off. That's on my headphones. See, user settings. No, that's my.
I hear like a very quiet echo.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, no echo. Okay, cool. So let's get started. We can see your full screen, by the way, with all of the files. So I hope there's no private stuff there. Okay. So I'm really curious to see what you're going to share.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, I didn't really prepare anything, so I figured we could just kind of revisit what you and I talked about the first time we spoke, right?
Yeah, perfect.
And I think you found me, like I was saying before, from this video, and this was literally an experiment I did when I heard about. I didn't even really hear about Gen 2. I saw someone else post something, and I'm like, oh, they did an update on Gen 2.
Right.
It wasn't really that great. It had a lot of weirdness to it. It was still very much experimental.
So this is the version where you upload a image and then it creates like a random movement.
Yeah. So I took about a dozen Mid-Journey images. So each one of these is a 3 to 4 second clip from Gen 2. So I took my Mid-Journey image, uploaded that, ran it a couple of times for each one, picked the ones I liked, pulled them down, threw it in CapCut, edited together, threw it up on Twitter. I mean, it was literally that simple. And all of a sudden everyone was like, wow, this is so great. And I was like, this is just an experiment. I was just messing around. I didn't expect it to get to be, get so much traction,
Right.
which of course is exciting. And then you reached out to me and we had a great conversation. But since then, I've actually tried to bookmark a handful of things on my likes in Twitter, and I don't know if the sound will come through. Is there a way for me to? Oh, I guess I can play it, and we'll see if the sound plays.
Yeah, the sound is muted right now on your video, so that's probably why.
So if I play this.
No, I don't hear the sound. Oh, it's I think with Google Meet you have to share the tab so we can hear the sound. But I don't think the sound is too important, right?
Yeah, that's fine. So there was, I mean, since we spoke, there have been dozens of I'm trying to find the one that was super popular.
Right.
Basically, people creating trailers, right?
Right.
Like movie trailers, right? That look like this. Right. I mean, they're taking their Midjourney images, they're using sound effects, they're using, soundtracks and things like that. And if you have any decent sense of pacing and editing, you can create a really incredible movie trailer. And it almost seems like the Gen 2 model is getting better over the last couple of weeks that I've used it, because some of these renders are just gorgeous.
Right, absolutely.
In just 2 weeks, I've seen it's just an explosion on Twitter of people creating movie trailers.
By the way, for the people who watch the stream, if the quality right now is not so good, what you see, and it's a little bit like not enough frames, that's probably because we're going through Google Meet, and then I capture it with OBS, and then I stream it to YouTube, so it's going through different capture instances, and this is why the frame rate is probably not so great. But the original videos, I think they have a pretty fluent frame rate, right? It's pretty okay.
I'd say out of all the ones I've tested so far, like Pika is really fun. It's just a lower resolution, a lower frame rate,
right?
Compared to Gen 2. Gen 2 has a really incredible interpolation, and is the blending between frames is not like anything I've seen so far. So that's, and by no means am I an expert. I'm experimenting just like everybody else and doing my best to try to keep up, which is sort of impossible because it seems like every other week there's a new Discord that's running some sort of text to video, AI platform, and I could run through a couple of those in my Discord. I think even the full journey one that I showed you they've updated their sound engine, which is what you see on the right hand side of my screen there. They've updated their text to audio files, right?
Right.
And I guess those won't play, which is kind of unfortunate. But
yeah, so we can't hear that.
So that's not something you could do on your end if you play, I guess, because I'm sharing. Okay, that's probably right. Okay.
Oh, it's in full journey. Okay, yeah, I think I'm on the full journey server. I could go into the same room and then have a look at that. 1 second.
Yeah. So and if anybody hasn't, I think I'd have to look. I don't want to inundate their servers. I don't remember how I got access to this. It was probably through a Twitter link or something like that. But usually, it's just like anything else. You get invited, you get access, and then you could test it and just be cool. Don't kill their servers. These guys are testing for the good of humanity, right? So
I'm in the sorry. I'm in the full journey room where we have all these kind of audio samples that you are looking at. So there is like the ones that I'm looking at that says your music death metal with techno breaks, your music evil wicked hip hop, stuff like that. So I don't know who has. Oh, it says AE plus or something like that as the username. But I guess we can just play any. Or did you want to show something specific?
Yeah, no, it was the first one I had up on my screen, but I guess the video stuff is a little bit easier to show. So if we go up to,
well, I can play some of those, so the like people can listen to that.
On your end, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can probably not hear it if I play it right now. So I'm gonna play some. Let's see. This is music evil wicked ambient. Let's see how that sounds. Very loud on my screen. 1 second. Put this down. pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and I always like to think that, with these, this is the worst it'll ever sound, right? I mean, and if you think, I like to think, always compare it to how Midjourney was 500 days ago with version 1, now compared to 5.2. I mean, the amount of time has been compared to the quality over that time. I mean, if you just apply that idea to this, I mean, where we're headed is just hard to kind of keep in my brain,
Right. Sorry, quick question. Are you mostly going to show Twitter posts? Because then I could probably show them here if you sent me the link to the Twitter post.
Yeah,
it's probably easier. Then you can stop the screen sharing for now and just send me the link, and then I play the video on my computer. It's probably easier for the people to see.
Yeah, so what I did was that I just saved a few of the trailers in my likes on my Twitter.
Right.
If you wanted to go,
if you want. So if you stop your screen sharing, I can switch between you and the and you put it in the chat on the side of the window.
Stop presenting there. Is that what? Yeah. Okay. I think I stopped.
Right. Okay. And then you can put it into the chat on the right side. Do you see the chat?
Sure. Yeah. Give me one.
Okay, and then I can open it up here. So that's probably better for the people to see that. Sorry, a little first try to have a guest on my live stream, so everything is very.
We didn't have time to prepare. Let me get this link here. There's too many links. Sorry.
Anyone is okay. It doesn't have to be super special.
Yeah. Here it is. Let me grab the link.
I think everything right now is pretty amazing.
Chat. Oh, that's group. Oh, here we go. Chat. In-call messages. That should be it.
There we go. So I will open that up. Ah, yeah, this is the famous one.
Yeah, that's the first famous one that I saw. And what's really great is he has a whole thread of how he did everything, right? From cut to Midjourney, which is really nice that he shared that.
1 second, we have another problem now, of course. God damn it, there's one problem after another, because I also am in widescreen mode, so if I go full screen, people only see half of the video. And of course on Twitter you can't download the video. It's because today nothing is working. How can I do that right now? To show it, can I, if I change my screen resolution, maybe it breaks the live stream, I'm not quite sure. What could I do now? Can I, is there no way to download from?
I mean, you could do one of those Twitter video download links.
Yeah.
You actually download the file.
Let's try that. Video downloader. Let's see if that works. I do
that quite a bit.
Doing a little bit of illegal action here right on the live stream. Okay.
It wouldn't be the first, I don't think.
Hopefully that works now. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's put this here. Okay, there's quite a lot of sound on there, so I will tell you when it's finished. 1 second. So I will just run this through. It's not very long. The end, that might be the person who made it. Let's see, the post is from Nicholas Neubert, might be End Films. Yeah, and I mean the quality is mind-blowing from that, right?
Yeah. It's like I said, if you have decent editing skills, you can put something really compelling together. It's really exciting.
And this is done with Gen 2, right? It's not done with Pika Labs or something else.
I didn't check fully. I don't know what he used. I didn't read his whole thread, but I think the bulk of it was...
I think he says, yeah, Video Runway, yeah.
and Gen 2. There might be some Gen 1 in there. I didn't read his whole thread. I just saw that he posted how he did it. I didn't read the whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
And then I posted another clip too. There's a user who he grabbed just a grid, like a 3D green screen rabbit of the rabbit, just a run cycle of a rabbit running across the screen. And he put that together to create a little trail. I just popped that in our chat as well. And what I just thought was interesting about this is he's combining, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different technologies. He's got Midjourney, he's got CapCut, he's got Kyber, he's using Music LM from Google, and he's using just a simple free 3D rabbit model on the screen, and he put together a really interesting piece that's pretty unique.
Right. A very nice style also. Sorry, I was so busy now with the downloading and stuff. So he's using like the rabbit is animated in a different software, or sorry, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so what I gathered from, let's see if I can find it.
Oh, yeah, with the green screen. That's what you mean. Like yes. But this looks like an animated rabbit, or is the rabbit afterwards rendered with image to image, batch rendering?
No, I believe the rabbit is a free YouTube clip. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it's the rabbit run is literally a YouTube video on a green screen. That's all it is.
But it seems to be rendered over afterwards to match the artistic style with AI, because it does not look like a real rabbit, right?
Here, let me, I'll put the YouTube video clip in the chat so you can see. When you see the video, you'll say, you'll get it right away.
Right.
Here's the YouTube clip.
Especially when he's licking his paws, the paws don't work.
Yeah, so it's a 1-minute video of the rabbit running to the right and then forward and then to the side and then the shadows there and all that, and he literally just keyed that out inside a CapCut and put it against the Midjourney Kyber backgrounds and made a cute little dystopian rabbit video. The white rabbit.
Right.
And then the audio and all that. I mean, the amount of creativity I've seen in the past 2 weeks is just
right.
Just knocks me out, really.
Crazy.
And then one of my favorite accounts is the Door Brothers.
You know, by the way, what I find interesting with a lot of these videos is, like, for example, this video got 25,000 views on YouTube. And he has 182 subscribers. Like, this kind of content, even though it gets a lot of views, it doesn't get any subscribers, which is very strange.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see. Does he do more videos, or is it like just a one-shot thing? Oh, it does like 6 months ago, and then he didn't do any other videos after that. And this one with the rabbit was a year ago. But he posted like once, kind of like, well, okay, once a month, once every 2 months. So that's not really good. And these are, oh no, these are just the green screen videos. So this is the source. This is not the guy who did the AI stuff. The rabbit you showed me, right?
I'm just trying to see, because I'm on I can't really see what you're showing. I have to look.
I'm showing the YouTube video with the bunny that you showed me.
Okay, yeah. So that's just the green screen video that he pulled of the rabbit to put into his clip.
So the guy with the YouTube rabbit has nothing to do with the AI guy. It's different guys.
It's 2 different things. Yeah, the guy who put the AI piece together just used that green screen rabbit in his piece. I think it's 2 separate things, I believe.
And do you know, did he composite the rabbit? Did he first AI render it and then composite into the video, AI video, or did he like render the rabbit with the background together in AI?
If I look at the thread, when I'm looking at his thread, I believe he put the rabbit inside a CapCut after he rendered the Midjourney Kyber pieces. I don't think the rabbit ever went through any AI generation. But I could be wrong. I didn't look.
No, it absolutely does, because when you look at the video, it has fur. Especially when you look at the view from behind, it has a lot of fur. It's very much more detailed than the rabbit from the YouTube video.
Okay.
So that is also, and later on when he's licking his paws, you can see that the paws don't work and have this classic AI problem. But I'm also seeing here that most of the background is static, or it's just like an image that is, how can I say, moved from left to right to match the kind of speed. So the background is not really animated. The background is just AI images. And then he has like just put the rabbit on top of that.
Yeah, if I understand correctly, the backgrounds are he rendered the backgrounds in Midjourney,
right?
And then he ran them through Kyber, which is a an AI video generation program where it's sort of similar to Gen 2, where you put your images in there and it'll make a video for you, and you sort of see a little bit of the diffusion, the interpolation from frame to frame.
Right.
That
yes.
full thread, if you check that Twitter thread, you can just scroll down and see he's got screenshots.
Let's check that real
everything
quick.
Everything he's doing.
Let me see, where do I have that? Wait, I have to click on your link again to find that. There we go. And here we have the here you have the backgrounds. Oh, but the backgrounds are a lot more detailed. So he lost a lot of detail with the rendering to put that together.
Yeah.
And so he used so he generated the images, he downloaded the bunny, he generated some fun music. Okay, that's okay. And there we see the process of how he's doing it. So he has, so he rendered, no, wait a second. He has now the bunny video without the green screen. So step 4, import and arrange the assets in CapCut. I'm gonna scene, cut. Transparent, adjust the strength. So he removed the green screen, upload one video by one for new projects on Kyber. So in Kyber, he has the composition of the rabbit onto the image background, and the image background is already like animated for the scrolling to the side. And then both of them at the same time get rendered into an AI videos to match the style artistically. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I missed that part. I didn't see that. I didn't see that till now. That's great.
Right. And this is also why he's losing so much detail with the background, because the original images are very nice and detailed, and then if it's converted by Kyber to the video format, it's just like doing something completely new. Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, I noticed that with Gen 2 as well. That first frame of the video compared to the first Midjourney frame, you lose some resolution.
Right.
But again, like I said, this is the worst it'll ever look. In 6 months from now, we're going to see a whole new generation of stuff.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, great. By the way, can you show the one with this kind of like photogrammetry where you then can have this kind of virtual drone? Because that was also very impressive.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Let's have a look at that.
Yeah. So I'll just put this one link in here while I'm looking for that. If you just give me a second. Because I would just, because I didn't get a chance to prepare. So I just put a link to the Door Brothers. You probably have seen these guys. They do these really gorgeous videos, very unique. This video that's in this Twitter link, it just kind of made me chuckle. It's really good. It's Pika. It's using Pika. I didn't look to see exactly how they're doing it exactly. If they're using images first or it's all Pika, I'm not really sure. But it's another interesting way. They pump out videos a few times a week doing unique things.
Really?
Let
wow,
me
a lot of work.
Let me pull up my Luma account.
Where's the wait a second, I'm just opening the video so people can see it. There we go. There we have the cat. Okay, so this is based on like oh god, what is a painter? Classic painting. Well, it's multiple classic paintings. Vermeer, yeah, right. With the Yeah,
that's a girl with a pearl earring. Is that first?
Right. And they do it in a lot of different styles, Lego and Pixar and so on.
Yeah, it's really excellent. I really enjoyed it.
Right. But this again looks like they have used Midjourney images and then animated it afterwards maybe in Gen 2, right?
Yeah, I didn't look too deep on how they did it.
Right.
They're pretty active online, so I'm sure they'd be happy to share how they did it. But let's see. So I have.
Oh no, it says made with Pika Labs.
Yeah,
So that's
I knew it was
interesting.
Pika. I just didn't know if it was Pika combined, like the other examples, combined with a Midjourney image or something like that. I couldn't really tell.
Right.
It might be pure Pika or a combination. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Right. Only got 4,500 views. That's kind of sad because it's a really cool, fun video. Right. So that's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of potential, and it's interesting that I find Pika Labs is very close to what Gen 2 can do, and I don't have a problem with them having it like reduced in like resolution and frame rate because it's a beta right now and it's for free. While on the other hand, with Gen 2, you just have to pay so much money to get it. I looked at it yesterday, I think, with someone, and it was like. The way he explained it, I think if you pay $35 a month, you get like 400 seconds, which is around 100 videos. That is not really much if you're trying to figure it out and stuff. And then also, you don't even get the money back if the result is really bad or didn't do anything, right? So you might spend, you're probably spending 90% of that on just trying to get a good result, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So for Luma, I think I might need to share my screen back.
Okay.
I don't know if I can.
Is there no Twitter post? Because last time you showed me some Twitter posts that show some examples with the girl standing. There's one creator. She's doing these fly like she was in the alley.
Yes.
That was pretty impressive.
Yes. That's Karen X Chang.
She's very good.
1 second. Yeah, she is excellent.
Well, some people ask where's the Pika logo. There is a room in Pika where it's without the watermark, without the logo, but that is just for like people who have been invited to that room. Like I didn't know that because yesterday I told people, hey, go to that room, but it's actually not official as a room. So you have to be, I think, one of the top creators or something like that, or you can ask the team and maybe suggest a project you want to do, and then they will help you. I found them very nice and helpful. So ask them, suggest them the project you want to do, and they might give you access to that. Oh, there's this video. 1 second. I'm going to download this real quick so I can show that because this shows basically the full process. 1 moment. There we go. Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't the post. This is the post. There we go. Okay. 1 moment. I should also maybe, if the community, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Sorry, I completely ignored the chat so far. So please put them there. I will try to read them and then forward them. Or if you see chat messages from your side that you want to answer, if you still have the live stream open, you can also tell me and react to that if you want to. So now I'm going to show the video real quick without the sound. 1 moment. There we go. So it's just running right now on the screen. And then I think I also going to explain it a little bit what's happening because I see what's on the screen right now. So, what is the name of the app again?
Luma AI.
Ah, yeah, Luma AI. Right. So there, she's actually showing it, so that's good. I mean, you can actually see on the screen what she's doing. So she's taking a couple of images with her phone, and then the AI app is creating a 3D space from that. So it's basically photogrammetry, and then like creating a 3D object from photos. And then afterwards, it has different like pre-made drone paths that you can also adjust afterwards. You see she's recording the movement right now with her phone. This movement is going to even out afterwards, so it's smoother. And so you can actually direct the camera. You can simulate the flight of an actual drone. Of course, it's not a video afterwards. It's going to be like that the person standing there is going to be static. It's still a static 3D model that might improve in the future where you can also animate the model in the scene, stuff like that. But for now, the technology is very impressive. I'm not quite sure how related this really is to AI, because photogrammetry has been around for how long? Like at least 1 or 2 decades, right? It's like kind of an old technology. It's also used for video game development and stuff like that. But it's still very, very impressive, and you can still use it as, for example, an input for your AI stuff, right? So
yeah, I think it's becoming popular again simply because of how good it is now, but also I think the AI, AI enthusiasts are attracted to it because of what you can do with it, right? So I think it's just part of their sort of palette of choices to create content.
right, absolutely,
Right?
yeah. So there's with these tools, there is such a crazy amount of creative flexibility, and at the same time, you don't need too much skill or equipment to use
Yeah.
these tools. That like artists can just go and like create the craziest ideas. Who beforehand only could like write scripts and hope they find a team and then have kind of a low budget version, and now they can just do like really crazy stuff with that, right? Just on
Yeah,
their
what I loved
computers.
about the Luma app is the fact that you can, you know, you could be shaky with your hands. You go around and you capture whatever you're wanting to capture, and then it gives you those presets to smooth out the paths. And then even you can use AR to record a path, right? So if you want to do like if you want to walk towards it and then spin your camera and then go up and go down, and then it'll record all that, and then it'll smooth it out for you. So, and you could do that right in the phone, or you can record it in the phone, do some edits in the phone, and then bring it to the website. And they have a really beautiful web UI that lets you do some keyframe editing.
Right,
To take it a lot further.
Do you have like a Twitter post that shows a recording of the? You showed me last time something where someone adjusted the path. So let's look at some questions.
I was trying to
create
find
aerial shots without a drone. Yeah, it can. That's the main function, is to create these aerial shots. Like you make a fake 3D space from the images, and then you can just move the drone around. The drone can also fly through openings and such, like gates or things, as long as you've captured everything with your AI. So, for example, if you have a doorway and you photo capture both sides of the doorway, you can fly through the doorway. Stuff like that. So you can do really crazy things, and you can orient the drone and like have the path, have the speed of the drone, or however you decide that. I think you can even export. Can you export the 3D model? Am I right with that?
It gives you options to download different versions of the 3D models. I'm not a 3D person, so I don't know the vernacular too well. But when you go onto the site, I mean, you could see it in the iOS app, but you get better choices, easier choices, on the desktop.
Right. I'm downloading the video right now. Give me a second. Let's see.
So yeah, I think I also sent the commercial for the McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Okay,
One
good.
moment. Let me stop.
That might just be the full commercial. I'm trying to find.
Really? So they already made the commercial, or this is something like how would it look if there was a commercial?
This was a while back. I'd say.
So this was actually on TV or like online as an ad?
Yeah, I definitely know it was released a good 4 months ago at least.
Ah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick. 1 moment. Give me a second.
Sure.
Wow. And this is done with that app?
I think because it's they got some high-end camera work going on in there. I think it's a combination of both.
Right.
I can't say whether or not the editing was completely done with the Luma app, but I think some of the pseudo drone shots, as far as flying around and all that, was done in the app, and then I'm sure they did some post.
Right.
In fact, she does have on her Twitter. She does have a walkthrough of how she did some of it. They do some behind the scenes.
Right.
Combining traditional shots with these the Luma shots.
Right. Do you think they did that because it's cool right now? Because of course they could have done that before with classic like CGI technology, no problem. but right now it's cool because everybody looks at these apps and stuff. So they did something like that, or
I think yeah, I think it's a combination because Karen, she's a social media influencer. I found her because she was one of the first people that had access to DALL-E when it exploded onto the scene, a year and a half ago or so. And I think it's a combination of, yeah, it's the cool new thing, but also to show that it's accessible. Whereas before you had to hire like a James Cameron type crew to shoot a crazy commercial, and now with an iPhone, a discernible eye, put together something on a shoestring budget, right? Like I think that's the idea, is that they're trying to go for it. It's like, look, they hooked up with Karen to shoot a McDonald's commercial, and I'm sure it was probably cheaper than hiring someone like James Cameron, right?
Probably, yes, yeah. By the way, this is when you look at the video at the details. So you have you can't see it right now, but there's a shot where they give the girl this kind of red envelope. This is Chinese tradition. Like this is probably a New Year's advertisement. So there is money in that envelope for the daughter. So this is a gift you give at New Year's with these kind of red and gold envelopes. And then when we fly through the package afterwards, you can see that. There we fly, you see the artist, and then we have here a tiger, I guess. And this is changing into a bunny. So this is like right now we have the year of the bunny. So this is probably last year we had the year of the tiger or something like that. So that's a New Year's advertisement. It's pretty funny. I have all these elements and it's done very smart. I really like it. And the fun thing is also when you slow it down, you see that at the other side, like at the start, you have the little girl sitting there. She gets the envelope and she starts to draw some pictures. Also there we have the tiger and the bunny in the scene. And then we fly through the package. So McDonald's family history, because she's also picking out a French fry from the packet. And then this is the girl, but as a grown-up artist. And we see the parents on the left side, much older now, looking at her fantastic work with some, McDonald's QR code. So that's a full life story here. Yeah. That is crazy. That's a really cool clip. Very nice advertisement.
That was a good review of that just now. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it was interesting, really interesting stuff what's happening there. Yeah, James Cameron kind of advertisement. Yeah. That's crazy.
So I'm trying to find an example of the editor. I mean, if you go to the Luma Twitter, they have great videos on what other users are doing. There's a user named Nick Floats who does a lot of Midjourney. He's a popular Midjourney renderer and teacher, and he's done quite a bit of going to like the Met Museum and doing some really great nerfs with Luma. I just wish I could find a good example of what the UI looks like.
You showed me last time a video, but it's probably hard to find on Twitter. It's really hard to like.
Yeah, I think because we were sharing screens back and forth, it was a little easier because I could show my editor. But I'd have to.
I think for this, the frame rate doesn't actually matter. So you can share your screen and we look at your editor, right? If you have that open, that's.
I can open up. I haven't opened this in a while since we've done it, and I'm not at it, but I'm happy to.
Sunsfire is asking, is this app already released, or is it like, do you have to apply for it to use it?
No, it's free. I mean, it's the amount of stuff. So if you go to lumalabs.ai, we could probably post that in the chat too, just so everybody has it. But
send the link to me because you can't send link in the chat of the live stream.
So, I mean, what's really amazing is they have an iOS app. They have the web UI.
This is the link for the Twitter creator that we looked at before with the McDonald's ad, just Karen Chan. And then we have Luma Labs. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lumalabs.ai. So I don't know if they have a Android app.
Right.
And of course the guys from Corridor Crew, they did a really great walkthrough of how to use it.
Yeah. Right.
That was another good one. And I think even Luma has a separate like sort of 3D store, if you will, for photorealistic 3D assets, right?
Oh,
for games and things like that. And a buddy of mine is creating his game, and he's been scanning stuff into his game. He's learning Unity to make a game, and he's been scanning his pets and his friends' pets and balls and all these things with using this technology and making a game and just making his own assets and using these free technologies. I mean, yeah, so Luma is free. You can download it. You can do it right in your phone. I took it on vacation and I recorded a bunch of stuff at the beach and made some quick 3D fly arounds. But as you go through their Twitter, there are, I mean, mine were just very rudimentary. There's some users on there that are really taking it to another level, combining it with other.
Saber says it's only for iOS right now.
Yeah, I guess that's unfortunate. But I will say that I think you can
what is a web
upload stuff through the web UI. I haven't tried it, but don't hold me to that. I think so.
That would be interesting if you can upload just a bunch of images. Of course, then it doesn't tell you what part you're missing from the like scan to complete the scan, but maybe you can do it. I don't know. Or could you potentially do?
Learning, right?
Can you? Well, you probably don't know, but could you use another photogrammetry app and then upload that result onto the website and animate it with their tool or something? Do you know if you can upload 3D landscapes, 3D models into the web interface?
I don't know. I know there's a way to go, like when I go onto my dashboard here, there is a create button. I haven't used it. It says drop a file in this area to click to start. So it could be changing. I haven't, because there's so many platforms to stay on top of, I haven't stayed on top of this one. But it looks like they're trying to get the web UI to be usable like the iOS app.
Right.
Because I know on the iOS, I can take just a regular video with my phone and upload that video, that raw video, into the Luma app. Like the Luma app allows you to record inside of it. Like it gives you like a guided feature, a freeform feature, right, to do that. But it also has a button that says upload your video here, and you can do that. So it looks like that's what they're trying to do with their dashboard.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Because a video has like basically all of the images you need. If you just walk around once, that should be enough.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you look at those pseudo drone shots, like you can pinch out and keep pinching out until you can't go any further, where the data just breaks up. It just doesn't have enough data anymore to like make a coherent image. But you can go pretty far that it looks like there's a drone 100 feet up in the air. It's pretty wild.
Right. Interesting.
But I can attempt. Do you want me to try to show this editor on my screen?
Yeah, please share that. I'm showing the website right now. There's also, it says game art here. There's an animated person walking. So I guess you can also scan yourself and then just either it's gonna auto rig it or you have to rig it, and then you can animate it with some movement animations. And movement animation is not really a problem as soon as you have the 3D model, because you can, for example, go for pages like mocap or stuff like that, where you have different packs of animation, of movement animation. Can we see something here? Well, they are not very impressive. There we go. Not sure if people can see this right now. Can I go here? Full screen is a little bit off to the side, but I think there's also free pages where you can download animations for movement and such, and then you just like apply that to your model, and then you're walking like that. And then you have to, of course, like lay out a path where the figure is walking, stuff like that. And this kind of stuff is also coming through AI. Like NVIDIA already has like very, very great examples of that, where the AI has learned to run and jump and have dynamic movements and such. So you can basically just tell the AI where it should go, what it should do, like jump over that kind of object. And the AI knows how to move the body and how to actually run in a physical space, and does that in the 3D space, but with the real physics applied to that, right? So yeah, there's a lot of potential for that. Okay, have you shared your screen? Oh, no.
No, it was I didn't want to let you finish your thought there. So all right, so I'm gonna put it on my other monitor so I have a better resolution for you. Where is the screen share? Ah, here it is. Present now. Okay, so it should be this one.
Let me see.
Can you see that?
1 second. I'm gonna. There we go. Yes.
It's a Venice Beach sculpture.
Right. Okay. Now it's again a slideshow, of course. But it's probably best if you show like the. Oh, this is what you created, right?
Yeah. So this is something I scanned at the beach. It was just like this cool graffiti sculpture thing. I walked around. I went around once, and then as I was walking through the beach, it uploaded and created the asset for me. So as I click these buttons, I'll probably make some mistakes because I haven't used this in a while, but you can go in,
don't worry,
move this around. And if I remember correctly, let's see here.
Cropping, select the screen ratio, probably what you output.
Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right stuff here. Let's try this one. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Okay, click the right button finally. So yeah, so right in here you can see the keyframes, right? So if I just play this through, this is I think I had already clicked on orbit, and then let's see if I clear those frames.
Right.
So now this is.
It's very much a screen. It's very much a slideshow right now. Sorry for that.
Okay, is it coming through at all? Can you see it?
Yeah, but it's for some reason has very few frames, which is strange because your webcam video is like completely okay, and then the screen capture is like very bad from the like quality. It's very strange. I don't know why that is. It should be.
Yeah, well, I haven't done any. This UI is pretty intuitive, and if you have any kind of like 3D background, you'll probably get in here and know how to use this stuff a lot better than I do. But you can go in and you can create keyframes. Each, you go to each spot, right? There's an oscillation one that does something like this.
Well, we can also look a little bit at the UI elements. So on the left side, you can see that you have radius, height, rotation, focal length, direction, and duration of the movement for this orbital. So the radius, of course, of how it's orbiting around the object, at what height does it rotate, what angle of rotation does it have, what kind of focal length you're using for the lens. So, of course, you can also simulate different kind of lens, focal length, basically, right? Does it? I don't think there is anything for bokeh or something like that. Aperture doesn't have, like, if you want to have a soft bokeh in the background, it doesn't do that, right? At the moment.
I don't see that unless it just does it naturally.
There's also roll, pitch, and jaw, so you can put the camera on an angle, which you could also like do basically what they call a barrel roll in gaming, like just like turn it upside down, stuff like that. So you can do really crazy camera flights that would be difficult to do afterwards, especially while moving through the space, because you can do a lot of that stuff with a 360 camera reframing it, but you are of course locked to the position where the camera is, while here you have basically the opposite position where the object is locked, but you can move the camera around, which of course is in a lot of ways a lot more helpful to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you can just go to each keyframe and then change it how you want. I'm on my desktop, so I'm using my mouse and my mouse wheel to scroll in and out. And you play around with the paths, and then you could preview it. You just go through, let it play, and then find one that you like, and then you can export it. You can export it as a video, render it out, and then post it. Right. And it's
what kind of resolution can you get from that when you export it?
Oh boy, yeah, I don't remember. I remember it being, good enough to post on Twitter, but Twitter crunches the heck out.
So it's not going to be 4K or something like that.
I don't see any options. I don't remember seeing options like that, especially for free service at the moment.
Right.
But they're as good as they look going in, and sometimes they look even better. Like when I took this clip, I think because it was nice and sunny out too, I got a really great capture. But I think a lot of these renders, the better your data going in, the better your resolution will be in the end. So if you have good lighting and things like that, you'll get much better quality, which is obvious, right? Yeah.
Can you adjust the virtual light in there? Can you set light sources or maybe adjust the light temperature, stuff like that? Maybe make it a dark scene, a night scene, stuff like that. Is that possible?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just motion.
I see.
All I see is motion in here. Oh, here's some resolution. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
There's a resolution.
That's great. That's great.
So, that's the pro. There you go. 4K is the pro version. I guess you know what? I don't even know that if they might be lining up to get ready to be doing the paid version, because this has been out for quite a while. So maybe they're getting ready to do that. But it looks like it goes up to the free version goes up to 1080 at the moment.
Right. And I love that they have these different social media formats for the video. I completely don't understand why most cameras today do not have a square sensor, so you can afterwards crop it in any kind of resolution, like ratio you want to have. Only some devices have, like the Instago 3 or in the other versions before. It has not only does it have a square sensor, but it also has a fisheye lens on that. So afterwards you can really reframe it, and you can also zoom it out to something that is wide angle or zoom it in a little bit more. So you have a lot of these abilities with actual video, and it's so cool that you can do that also. Of course, with 3D space you can do any kind of ratio you want to have. There's even custom ratios. So you could actually do like a widescreen 21:9 cinema kind of ratio, right? It's really cool.
Yeah, but I suggest everybody just sign up, play with it.
Especially if it's free, that's pretty cool.
Especially that it's free. Yeah, I mean, and I've seen some of the work. I've seen some of the Twitter universe do with this stuff is really inspiring, because then I see people taking these videos and then running them through like Kyber and getting these really beautiful assets. So I mean, combining the platforms together, you'll get some really interesting outputs.
Absolutely, yeah. Crazy. Yeah, I want to really do more with AI. I'm also working on a secret project. I don't think I even have told you about that.
Secret. Love secret.
Right. I will tell you after the stream. This is like the first kind of collaboration project, and then I hope a lot of more projects coming afterwards.
Exciting.
Right. And I also want to do a collaboration with you if you want to, of course.
Happy to. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I keep my Twitter open. And I try to post just to kind of get my name out there as much as possible, because I never really used it until AI kind of took over my life. So finding users to collaborate with. I mean, that was one of the first ones I used was Disco Diffusion, and that was something I had no idea. I didn't know anything about Python scripts or anything like that, and that just while I was waiting for my Midjourney and my DALL-E invites to go through, I started playing with those scripts and making videos. Nothing out of just words, and just playing with these different models.
Right.
And, that community is really open to just if you reach out to somebody and say, hey, how'd you do that? Can you show me?
Yeah.
And most of the time you'll get a good response. So if you put yourself out there and start asking questions, people will. So I have a whole community now, people that I just talked to that are just all virtual. They're all in my Discord. And,
right.
And I joined there. I have so many Discord servers that I'm a part of, and it's really great. It's this whole new way of creating. And then you see a McDonald's commercial and you're like, wow. But even though it's not technically AI, I'm sure it uses a lot of machine learning elements, right? But but even if it's 10% AI this or that, I mean, it's artistic expression for people that didn't have a voice.
Absolutely,
you had to be part of the, that, like I keep using James Cameron, but people like Karen Chang, who were just on social media, are now being asked to do these high-profile projects, right? So at some point, you might upload something that someone says, hey, that's great, I want to use that in my brand for Nike, and then all of a sudden you're in that world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of that technology is, especially if you want to go for this public appeal and reaching people, and these, of course, advertisement is in that and entertainment is in that area. It has to be, you have to use the technology while it's hot and fresh and new and people actually interested in that, because if you're like thinking about it for 2 years, it's going to be old news. Nobody's going to caring about that anymore. So even now, if you do a project that might not be super creative or super awesome from what you could do with actual technologies already around. Just because that technology is so new and has so much attention, you still can get a lot of like interest for that and work with amazing people, because it is just a thing that everybody wants to show right now and everybody wants to play with right now. So that is a huge chance. So I would really suggest to people to try it out and do something and post some stuff online, rather than think, oh no, I have to make it perfect and the idea isn't right and stuff like that, because then you might lose your chance and you do maybe a great thing half a year later, but by then everybody has already seen the effect and they're like, yeah, okay, we already know it. It's a great film, but it's like too late now, right? So there's already other stuff happening.
That you make a really good point, because too much planning, then you'll just miss that opportunity. And sometimes I've noticed in my own research, as a to your point, that I'll just test something really quickly and then put it aside, and then all of a sudden a couple of weeks later something comes up for a project and I'm like, oh, I just tried this brand new technology a couple of weeks ago, maybe we could use it for this. So the more you pile up those little experiments, the more choices you'll have later when something else comes up and you're like, you know what,
right,
I did a quick little experiment, and I'm not an expert yet, but it's a beta this or an alpha that, and you never know what's going to come along. So I try to kick the tires on as many beta alpha Discord servers I can get my hands on, and even though I'm not an expert, I'd say, in any of them, I've been able to create some really interesting stuff that I think has so much potential, and it's
right.
And like I said, I've met so many great people through these communities, like yourself. I mean, you reached out, and now we're talking, sharing information, and it's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. And I feel like if you look back in history, like the first things that became famous for something, it's not that they were amazing, it's just that they were the first, and it's impressive because they tried it the first time to do some things. But like, if you look at the first photos or the first like short films or stuff, not interesting by today's standard, but for the time back then it was really amazing. And because of that, now it's history, even though it's maybe just some people coming out of a factory or stuff like that, but it was the first video, and so it's in history books, right? So that is, you also had to capture the moment, right?
What was that video, the first theater, one of the first theater experiences of a train, and the people are sitting in the theater and the train is coming and everybody starts getting up out of their seats because they think the train is going to come.
Right, yeah.
I forget what that's called. I always found what an amazing time to be part of something like that, where you're so like just amazed by the technology that it gets you up out of your seat because you think the train's going to come through the
phone.
Absolutely.
We
laugh at it now because we're so used to like Avatar and all these crazy videos and stuff, but I can't think of the comparison to today's, but I guess it's sort of.
I mean, but if you had the first like the 3D movies, people also were sitting in the cinema like because they thought things were jumping at them, right? Or reaching out and playing with the stuff in front of them because it looks so real. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. I also, by the way, I found out, because I'm preparing for that project right now, and this kind of ideation process where you just try to find a good idea, I really realized how rusty I am with all the creative like planning of things, because I haven't done it for quite some time to work on an actual own project like that and come up with ideas. And so it was like very overwhelming, it's like creativity is like a muscle and you have to train it and you have to go through a lot of ideas. And at one moment I was a little bit overwhelmed by that, but then I thought like, let's just work through it. Like just create one idea after another, and then maybe something good is popping out of that, because you can really, you don't have to wait for creativity. You can also go the other route where you just like kind of brute force it. You go through all of the ideas that your brain can come up with, and then also try to find some stuff online as inspiration. And then you have a lot of examples. You can look over them. I would suggest at that point to give it a little bit of time, a couple of days, look back at them and have a new perspective. And then you will find something in all of that stuff. But because you push that out of yourself, it also is flavored by you. So they are all your ideas. And then you can you find one idea that sticks out where you say, hey, that looks like much better like the rest does. So let's go for that. And then you can go from that and go to the next step and prepare to play more with that specific idea and flesh it out a little bit more, right? So yeah, don't be afraid. Like also people in the community, just play around with stuff and see what you can do. And social media also for creatives is a really good place because you can test a lot of ideas, right? You can put them on TikTok. You can see do they get views and likes or not, and you keep the good ones. If you want, you can delete the bad ones. You can like dive deeper into the stuff that works. So you have a live market research basically with all these kind of statistics to see what works, what doesn't work, what do people react to, what do they not react to, stuff like that, to figure out in what direction you want to go or what is actually appealing to people, right? Or what can also build a community if that's some stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah.
What are people
Yeah, so if there's anything, I know we spent a lot of time on Luma. If there's anything else you want to try to render or look at, I can't remember. I didn't take any notes from our initial meeting. I know we spent a lot of time, we spoke for a couple hours, and we spent a lot of time looking at all sorts of great things. But there's Pika, right? There's Pika. There's one called Full Journey, which is I guess a play on Mid Journey.
There's also this kind of wonder kind of thing. What is it called? Wonder film?
Oh, Wonder Dynamics. Yeah, Wonder Dynamics. Yeah, that's another one. If I go,
I talked with a friend, and she said it's very expensive, and you are very limited on the uploads you get and stuff like that. So because it is built for professional use, it's not really built for casual users. So
yeah, I'll say, I mean, the technology is incredibly impressive and powerful. The only use case I found for it myself was just to show that something like that's possible, right? Where you have something you've already shot and then you want to replace a character. You know, it's pretty unique. But outside of the demos I created, I was like, I don't have a use case yet for it. And, you know, especially because if you want, you know, unless you want to use the characters they already have in there, you have to upload your own character, and that's a whole separate thing of like creating your own 3D character and rigging it and making sure it follows their the structure that they need and getting it in there. And then once you render it, it takes, I think for like a 15 to 30-second scene, probably took a few hours to render.
Really?
So
wow.
Factor all that in because it's rendering on their servers, right? So that's a whole separate thing that you have to take into consideration whether or not you need to use it, you know, because just there's, you know, like I did that when it was in free beta and I tried it and I haven't really gone back to it, but it just shows where things are headed.
Is it as easy as they show in their demo where you just drag the 3D character onto the video and that's it?
It really is, right? Because
really?
those are the characters they're giving you, and what it does is you upload your video, and then it goes through, and you sort of keyframe when the scene changes, right? So you have the first scene, it might have 2 people, the second scene might have 1 or 2 or 3, and then you basically go through and say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 actors, and then you replace those with the characters in their library, and then once you're done, you know it. You know, you go through and you hit play, and then you have the options of, you know, downloading a clean plate and some of the other, I can't remember what the other options are, but they give you quite a few options of what you can download to put together a scene in like Blender or something like that.
Yeah, here shows like.
I'm sure there's other people that are much more skilled, that already have these backgrounds that can take this to the next level.
Right. I'm looking at the demo video right now here. So it says you can download the AI mocap, which is the motion capture, the clean plate. What is a clean plate? What is that?
So from what I understand, the clean plate would be the image, the background without the person in it, right?
Oh, really? Interesting.
Technically clean, right? So you'd have.
So it can render out the person. Interesting.
Yeah, so to basically just take out the characters that you're going to be replacing, right? So and that'll give you, and that's a term from these 3D rendering platforms, and I know nothing about them, so I might be using them in an incorrect way, but I do know a clean plate is something like that. It's
interesting.
Clean
yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And you can also download the alpha mask, of course, the source video, the Blender scene, which is interesting. You can download that. The camera tracking, you can download that. And the character pass, which is probably only the character with either green screen or transparent background. And then, of course, also the final render. So you basically can download all of the different layers and then afterwards adjust them or put more stuff in them, more effects in them, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Very nice. And with the Blender scene and the mocap, you can also then render more stuff yourself, basically, right? After they have created that.
Yeah, they offer quite a bit. And like I said, it's a very specific use case. So I'm hoping that at some point I'll have use for it. I'll be like, yeah, I did a couple of demos back when it first came out, and maybe something will come along. Be like, you know what? Here's a perfect solution for this particular project that may or may not come up in the future.
Right. Is they show this kind of clean plate video where the background is removed. It looks like really good. You see a little bit, of course, of like a ghost of like there's the air is a little bit flurring at that area where the person is moving, but other than that, it's really good, at least at that scene. Of course, to be honest, they selected a scene here where you have gravel on the ground and basically kind of a like very neutral sky. So this is not a complex city scene with advertisement in the background or stuff like that, where that probably wouldn't work at all. So this is probably a very easy scene for that to do, as far as I do understand it from photography in painting. So with the city,
that and now I'm remembering too, like Runway doesn't just do like Gen 1, Gen 2, and image to image. They have an in painting feature in Runway that lets you upload your video and do in painting to remove characters and stuff like that. And I think they're going to give the Roto Brush in After Effects a run for its money, because it's very easy to use and it's inside the web UI. And I've used it a couple of times to create videos and just clean up some video that I needed to then take into another editing program. So
could you go to the Wondershare website real quick, because you're still screen sharing, so we see that at the same time as kind of a background on the side while we're talking.
Yeah.
So it's fitting to the. There's the link. I put it in the chat if you want to. You can click on that.
So all right, let me find my screen.
Just so we have something fitting for the scene. Let's see, is there any questions from the community? Impressive edge detection. Yeah, that's amazing. Like the masking of the character is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know like there's to do it for free, I believe you can download a version of Warp Fusion.
Can you click on the accept button real quick and maybe scroll down, because we only see that kind of to something that looks more interesting than that. See, sorry.
Yeah.
Just have something in the shot that looks nice.
How about this? Should I do that?
No, because then it's a slideshow again. I just showed that video.
Oh, okay. How about that?
Yeah, you can leave it, I think, or maybe we scroll up to the logo again. Maybe that's a better idea. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, let's just leave it at the logo so people know what we're talking about. Oh yeah, let's leave it like that. That's good. Okay. Good. Sorry.
Because I'm trying to watch the stream too, so I might be on a few second delay.
Yeah. All right.
So the let's see if I can get it quickly. So yeah, because before this came along, like Warp Fusion, Disco Diffusion, Alex from Warp Fusion has been doing an incredible job of creating these Python scripts that let you do, I would say quote unquote free. He has a $10 Patreon where he does stuff, but then he has a free version of it too, I believe. And it's a similar thing where, I mean, you have to go through, and it's Google Colabs, so it's, if you don't have any familiarity with that, it's a little tricky at first, but once you get through it, it's not too bad. I can put a link.
And what is that doing?
So it's a so like think of Deforum, right? Where you're taking video and you're diffusing that video to be something else, right?
To change the style and stuff, right? Okay, like Kyber, a little bit.
Yeah, similar to that. You've seen some of those videos where they're, a lot of the dancer videos, right? Where they're they're changing the dancers into robots and things like that. You're usually using some version of either Deforum or Warp Fusion. But Warp
Right.
Fusion has a feature that will do the masking and the clean plate, and it does a really good job. And you can click the boxes to say which version of the video you want to make, and it does a really good job of automatically picking the main character and then cleaning it up, and then giving you a video with a pretty clean background, so you can manipulate that after the fact in After Effects or whatever program you want to use.
Right. Awesome. Interesting.
And I had done one for The Wizard of Oz. I took the scene where the Tin Man is dancing around, and I changed the Tin Man into Iron Man and made him dance around. So
you showed me that. I remember.
Yeah, so something like that. And I did that I think I did that a year ago, just as a test. And since then, the Python script has gotten so much better. And that's yet another community that's so filled.
Yeah, style transfer
going to help. Right. Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. So and I noticed it's usually what's being used on the videos I see online, all those dancer videos where they have like the marble woman who comes to life and she's dancing around. I mean, it's
right. If you have a link for that for any kind of Twitter, I can show that.
Yes.
So people.
Yeah. Give me a sec here.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so that stuff, all of that stuff has a lot of potential of things you can do with that. This is again the Luma Labs page that I'm showing right now on the screen. And yeah, I think the hardest part right now is to actually have ideas what to do with that, right? It's like the technology is there, but what to do with it? What kind of like... and there's a lot of these like online creators which do really amazing creative stuff. Okay, maybe that's the wrong scene. But to come up with your own ideas is really not easy, especially when it should look good and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of that is experience, just like doing it a lot, testing it out, looking at what other people are doing. One thing, by the way, that I can suggest to people who are looking at, for example, doing more video, doing more film, is download a video, maybe not a complete film or something like that, but for example, take a scene that you like or a YouTuber that you like, travel vlogger or whatever, download it, put it into a software, video cutting software, and cut the individual scenes and look at how long does each scene take and what does it actually film. And also look at how much does the camera move and where does the camera move, because that is very, very important for video. The kind of framing you do, what kind of things you want to film to tell a story, what kind of elements do you need. You will realize that a lot of video, even action movies, have very little camera movement in them. And there is, even if they have camera movement in them, the main subject or the main element that's going to be filmed is not moving much, unless it's maybe a fight scene or something like that. So you often have tracking shots where the camera is staying on the character and then the background is moving, but the background is blurry, so it doesn't matter if it's moving. In other situations, the characters are moving, but the camera is either standing still or moving very slowly, because if you, for example, shoot with 24 frames, you're going to have a lot of jitter in there, or if you move the camera, it's going to be very blurry, all of the movement. So to have these nice crisp videos, you want to have as little movement as possible, or like of the camera or of the space or of the character. Yeah, so you can play with that. And a lot of that is like just, yeah, like I said, it's just like trying it out, playing around with that. I would also very much suggest you to read books about that, because there's a huge difference between being a creative and being an artist. And the main difference is if you're a casual creative doing something on your own, you do things that are cozy and nice and beautiful, but they often lack the artistic, how can I say, how you phrase it in English, the artistic background, let's say it like that, the artistic, philosophical, historical, like why is art, why is art done a certain way, this kind of background. So reading books about why artists do it a certain way, understanding, for example, different movie directors, different cinematographers, stuff like that, on their decisions, on the history, on the philosophy behind that, gives you a much bigger insight than just looking at the video, and that really helps you create better, bigger content, right? So yeah, that was a little excursion. Okay.
I shared Alex, who does the Warp Fusion notebook.
There we go.
Put his Twitter in our chat.
Right, I'm gonna download that video real quick of that dancing lady here. 1 second.
Yeah, and you'll see even just the first few videos on his Twitter are examples of what you can do with the notebook. There's a really good Van Gogh dancer on there.
Oh, so this is just notebook. It's not, he doesn't have a crazy computer. He's just doing it with Google Colab.
Yeah,
is that notebook? Yeah.
Alex is responsible for the Warp Fusion notebook. I would expect that his information is in his Twitter on how to get there. Oh yeah, he's got his link tree in there, so that's good.
Right.
But yeah, it's really fun. It's if you haven't used Google Colabs, it's super overwhelming at first, but there's tons of YouTube videos on how to get started. And the community for Warp Fusion is really helpful. They have really good information on their Discord, and you can create cool stuff like this. And it's just a lot of fun to go in and use the default settings and just change the prompt. Right. 15-second video and see what you can get. And like in this case here, in this video you're showing, that's the dancer and the background, right? Where you can do just the dancer diffused with the background. The original video or vice versa. It gives you those options right inside the notebook to make some interesting stuff, right?
Interesting.
And then these are just 10-second examples. I've seen users that are taking these things to all kinds of levels, because once you start editing, you really get into the meat of it all.
Is this a thing you talked about before, where you have to buy that script from his Patreon?
So I think there's a couple of versions. There's a free version that he eventually puts out, and then he has like the beta / nightly builds that I think it's either $5 or $10 to be part of his Patreon.
But you can download that, or you have to stay a member of his Patreon to use that link or something.
I believe if you want to use the daily and weekly updates.
Oh, okay.
You need to do that.
Sense.
But if you want to use, I think he puts out an official version every so often. And it's just, it might be behind by a couple of months or something. But I'd have to look and check to make sure that I'm saying that right, because I wouldn't want to misrepresent what he's doing. But I believe it's something like that.
Right.
But if you're interested in making this stuff and you think you can make money on it, or it's something you're really interested in, it's definitely worth it. He answers questions. The community answers questions. It's worth the $10 for a little while to get his knowledge, and you get access to his whole Patreon of previous projects too. Like it's his whole thing. He's got all the stuff up there, so you can go back and learn as much as you can spend time on learning. Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the video of the Van Gogh dancer, I mean, it's so fun.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's crazy. Interesting. Awesome. And then, you just you get the access to the Patreon. You download this thing or get access to the link, to the Google Colab link, and then you can just use it, the Google Colab. And then, of course, you can either stay a member and get the updates, or just work with what you have and use that Google Colab. How does it work? Like Google Colab is not any code you can download, right? It's usually just a link, and everything is prepared in that thing.
Yeah.
Can you copy it over? Can you copy over Google Colab, or what is it called? Like a laptop, you said, notebook to your own drive, so you can use it afterwards, or?
Yeah. So what I have at work, because we just got a nice GPU through my work that I log into remotely. And it took a little bit to set up, but you can set it up so that you're running using your local GPU. It just takes a little bit of setting up to do it that way.
Cool.
At first, I would suggest just doing it through Google Colab, because I had to reinstall Anaconda. I had to get IT involved to help me figure it out, because the semantic virus controller was getting in the way, and it was a little wacky at first. But if you're new to it, just use the Google Colab, and then when you get a little bit more comfortable and you do have a beefy GPU, you can run it locally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Google Colab actually is a good. I should maybe do more videos about that. It's a good alternative for people who don't have strong computers. It's not that expensive to use it. And it's of course it's a lot cheaper than buying a completely new computer system, because then you're out at least a couple of $1,000 to set that up, and with that you
Yeah, I
can
didn't
do
have
a
a
lot of
choice.
rendering on Google Colab.
When I first started, I'm on a Mac. I'm still on a Mac, but I used it quite a bit, and once I got used to it, I mean, up until they started doing compute points, but before that, it was only like $50 a month, and it was sort of like unlimited. And then they started
Right.
getting hit really bad, and they changed their whole pricing structure. But I'm lucky that I get to my work pays for it, so I'm very lucky in that sense.
Right.
But yeah, I think because then there's like Run Pod, and I think there's another GPU
Right. Yeah, there's a
company
lot of
that does
services
all that.
online,
So
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and once you start going through the YouTube videos and you see the popular users that are using this stuff, they're very helpful on like showing an example and where to go and how to get started. So if you're interested in this, there's tons of helpful tutorials on how to get this stuff.
Right. 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 Awesome. And
Yeah.
I think like if you use Google Colab for this kind of stuff, it's gonna be a lot cheaper than like Runway or stuff like that, right? You can probably render a couple of hours, maybe not a couple of hours video, but certainly more than 400 seconds per month. If you buy like $10, if you only buy $10, I think you get amount around how much is it? 10 hours of GPU time or something like that. 10, 20 hours of GPU time.
For Colab?
Yeah, if you buy $10 of credits, 100 credits.
Well, what's nice about Colab is that you can switch between the GPUs now.
Right,
So
yes.
depending on what you're doing, you may or may not get, like, you may be able to extend.
Right.
Like if you need to do a quick example, you run it on an A100, get it going, and then if the notebook's set up in a specific way, you can set it on a lower GPU and let it run for just longer. Maybe run it overnight or something, so you're not using as many credits.
Although have you done the calculation? Is it like do you save any credits by having it run on a lower GPU but run it longer rather than a faster one but run it shorter, because you pay by time, but the time is costing less with a worse GPU, but you also take more time. So does it actually save you money or not?
I guess that's an interesting calculation. I guess it depends on what you're doing. Like if it's a timely project, then maybe I guess not, right? But I mean, in the beginning when I was first doing it, I was doing that. I was doing a quick test, changing my settings constantly, rendering a bunch of frames, and okay, this one's good.
Right.
And then running it overnight. And actually I worked on a like a half of a music video with a buddy of mine, and we did that. We would both set our collabs the same way, and he would run a bunch of prompts on a video. I'd run a bunch of prompts on the same video. We'd run our notebooks together overnight, and then we'd check in the next day and say like, okay, what'd you get? And we compare folders and see what we got. We'd share our Google Colab folders and put together a little video to see what it was. So yeah, it really depends on what you're doing, on whether or not it's worth doing one or the other.
Someone is saying in the chat, Paperspace is his favorite because Colab is too expensive now. I've never heard of Paperspace myself.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know that one.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of different services out there where you can rent GPUs. I just don't know how to set up the AI on these services then, but probably they have a similar way to do it.
I'm hoping usually if there is a good alternative, there's a good chance that there's somebody on YouTube that used it and has set it up to be taking a Google Colab book and converting it into something that's usable on another GPU service. Right. I've seen that for RunPod, like taking your Google Colab and refactoring it so because the Google Colabs are obviously set up to work with your Google Drive, so there's a lot of that stuff that has to get removed so it can work with something else. Right,
of course. Interesting. Yeah, I have to look into that more, because with my computer I don't really need it, but it's still interesting to look at it for other people if they need that services. I was talking with a client today, and I was like, he was on a Mac, so he couldn't use, like he was on an older Mac, he couldn't use the automatic 1111. and I was not really possible to show him how to do it on Colab. Like I installed a Colab, but it was completely looking different than Automatic 1111 because I didn't know where the link is for that, especially with ControlNet. So I have to figure that out a little bit more. And yeah, you can still do some amazing stuff with these kind of things.
Yeah,
Can you provide a link
look at using some, because some of the collabs can get overwhelming for people, and it's sort of like overkill sometimes if you're just getting started. Like, use Kyber. I mean, Kyber is so friendly where you can upload a video.
But isn't Kyber also very expensive at the same time?
I feel like it's less expensive than Runway.
And by the way, you can stop the screen sharing so we can see you bigger. I put a video over it for the moment, but
yeah.
By the way, someone was asking if you can show the conversion link to convert collabs. But I think you only said that it would be nice to have something like that. You don't have something like that, right?
Yeah, I know there are YouTubers that have done that. I'd have to search for it to find it. I know they exist. I've seen them. I don't have a link handy, but
I see. Okay.
I think YouTube is the place to go. That's where I go to find stuff like. But I haven't really done it because now I have a system set up at work to use the script, and then if I'm home and I can't use the remote machine, I'll log into regular collabs and use that and see how many credits I have left. But
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kyber is really great, but yeah, I haven't done the price conversion to see, but I feel like I've gotten more for my credits at Kyber because it's super creative too.
I think Kyber is the main page for all of the what I'm showing right now. Okay, yeah, it's the main page for all of the people doing these kind of TikTok animations where they jump in the air and then the camera's rotating to the side, right? That's all done in Kyber.
The one I saw of that one, I think it's MDMZ is the user. I think that's his. Let me find the link on my Discord. And I think he's got a tutorial as well. Because what you're describing sounds pretty specific to what I remember.
There's an AI video from Kid Cudi. Right. I find it interesting that at the same time people are very much embracing AI and also video AI, and then at the same time there's this huge protest from the other side, like the strike right now in America, where they can't even do movies right now. It's not just about AI; it's also about the payment. So they have to stop producing videos right now or new movies because of that. But yeah, it's interesting. I was recently at a talk. I was like just there as a guest, but there was a choreographer, and asked her, how is it if you want to break into the movie industry? Should you build a big social following so you have proven that you're good? People actually like to follow you. You're entertaining, stuff like that. She was not happy about that question because it's not the classic way to do it, right? She was like, these social media guys, they get big and then they come in the movie and blah, and they're not good because they're not classic actors. Yeah, but millions of people follow them, right? So I can understand that it's a different thing to be like 30 seconds on TikTok and then do a 2-hour movie and be a Marvel hero or something that doesn't really fit together. But at the same time, if you're a certified actor with an actual actor education and you build a following around you before you start to become a movie star, I find it's a good way. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really talented who have been discovered on social media, right? If you think about Justin Bieber or this kind of like with the Netflix, this kind of golden dance girl, I think she's of course a trained dancer, but did she become? No, she didn't become famous because of social media. Sorry, that was a bad example. But there's other examples of people who became famous through social media first, and then also build a bigger career for themselves. So I still find it's kind of verified. I think as long as people have the feeling they can make money with you, they will not care where you come from, right? Yeah. I mean, there's even like adult stars who are movie stars now, right? So they really don't give a crap. As long as they can make millions with you, they will like put you in a movie, right? So I still find it's a good valid start point to do social media. Sorry, what were we talking about? I lost the track. Yeah, no, by the way, Red Dreams is also in the chat. He says he's your collab buddy. If you want to do a shout out.
Oh yeah, RJ. Oh, there he is. What's up, dude? Yeah. RJ, do you have the video handy of the one we did together? Oh, what was the name of the band? I'm blanking on it. Maybe he can pop it in the chat. I forget. But in
He
the
can't post
meantime,
links, but he
I think
can.
it's on my YouTube. But in the you know what? I'll go look for that. But in the meantime, I post in our chat.
Right,
I put
right.
3 Twitter links to MDMZ, and these are 3 examples of doing that video you were just talking about. One's with Gen 1 and Kyber and Luma, and then one is with the forum, and then one is with Stable Diffusion, doing like the different effects that we were just talking about.
Okay, cool,
And
cool.
then I'll find that.
Oh, did you already post them? Because I see a couple of links here.
I
No.
put those 3 links in our chat. I didn't know if you wanted me to put them in the actual chat or if you wanted to flag them first on your side. I didn't know what you planned on doing there, so I put them in.
But they
our
are
chat.
for who? Like for showing it as a
So
video or
yeah,
like?
so these are videos from MDMZ. That's just MDMZ. That's his name, but he's doing the video where it spins and goes from a regular video into like a diffused video. So
Right,
he's
right, right.
showing different examples of how you can use Luma Labs with Runway, Luma Labs with Kyber, a regular video with Deforum, and doing all the same sort of effects. And he has a whole list of tutorial threads on how to do that. And then if you want to get deeper, of course, he's got a Patreon as well. But he does Disco Diffusion, Stable
Right.
Diffusion, Warp Fusion, Deforum. He does all that stuff and posts tons of examples on his Twitter to do how to do that stuff.
Right, right, right.
And
by the way, I can tell everybody in the chat, if you want to get started with this kind of stuff here, these kind of camera movements and such, don't waste your money on expensive cameras or action cameras, stuff like that, like I did. I spent thousands of dollars. You can do the exact same thing with your smartphone as long as the smartphone has a good camera. It's not going to be movie quality, but it's going to look exactly the same unless you're cropping into or zooming into the video. So if you have a new iPhone or a new like Samsung Galaxy or something like that, that is good enough. You can do it with that, and you don't have to buy like a Sony A7 III or something like that and spend thousands on equipment. Because you're not going to see it on social media. It's going to look exactly the same. And at the same time, your smartphone is going to do a lot of processing for making it look HDR, evening out the shadows, making it sharper, all that kind of stuff. So it looks like a much, much better camera than it actually is because of this smart processing that is happening in the background. So as long as you have a good smartphone, you can get started right away. The only thing you want to do is probably to go online and check YouTube for these kind of camera movements and how to do them. There's a lot of guides. And one thing I would also suggest you is to get what is it called, this kind of stabilizer tool, a gimbal for your smartphone. They cost like maybe $100 or something to get a good gimbal, and then you can do these movements. I'm pretty sure, if you have an app for that, like if you have, for example, the DJI gimbal, you can do tracking of people, of objects, stuff like that. So you can walk around a person and the person is always staying inside in the middle of the video, stuff like that. So you can get started really, really cheap with these kind of videos, and then do AI video with that, right?
Just know too that in that Luma example, that's done handheld, I believe, because Luma does give you the smoothing. So even if you walk around and your hand is really shaky, it'll give you a smooth render after the fact.
Oh, that's a Luma video. That's not even an actual video.
So that video, the one you're showing.
I see it here at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Luma. That's a Luma capture, and then he's running it through Gen 1.
Okay, so forget about the gimbal that I just told you about. Of course, unless you want to have movement in the video, because if the guy's dancing and the camera's moving, you cannot do that with Luma. But if it's just standing like that, then Luma is good. Yeah, okay, great.
So, all right, so I'm posting some links. I'm going to firebomb you with a few links here. So I have,
yes, please.
I gave you a couple of Twitter links in there that all revolve around just MZ. And then the first YouTube video I put in our chat is the clip that I did with RJ way back, is when we first met. I think the band is called Half Alive, and the name of the song is Still Feel. So we were testing out disco diffusion.
Right.
I don't
This
know.
is
I
this is
don't
a
even
different
remember.
video right now, just so people are not confused. I'm still showing the other one with the dancing Statue of Liberty. Just to show the second link because I only showed the first link. This is a Pexel video. I'm pretty sure about that because I think I know the guy. So you can download a lot of stuff from Pexel also. You don't even have to film anything. Pexel.com is free. And then you can just like input it and play around with that. Right. And they are legal to use compared to the TikTok videos. These you can just like use for that purpose. Okay, sorry. Let's go to your link. Oh, that's the YouTube link there. One, two, three. The
Yeah, let
first
me go
YouTube
to
link.
let me get rid of these tabs here so I know which one I'm looking at. Okay.
I know that guy. Isn't he a famous musician, that guy? That's a famous music video.
It depends which one you clicked on.
Like the Still Feel Dream Vision teaser, Half-Life.
Yeah,
Half
so
Alive.
this clip is from this is an actual music video. We took the music video and then we ran the
Oh, so that's not your buddy, because I thought, wow, you know that guy.
No. So let's
Okay.
clarify. So this band is called Half Alive, and the song
Yeah,
called
right.
Still Feel, right? We have nothing to do with them. We don't know them
Right.
at all, right? All we did was actually I hadn't even heard of them until RJ mentioned it to me, and he's like, "Let's take this video and do some cool stuff with it as we learn how to use disco diffusion," right? So we were
Right.
taking different clips and running them through at different thresholds and trying to understand how the platform worked and doing different color saturations and all these things. And we spent some time doing that. And then we took all the pieces. We did them in like 10-second increments, I believe. And
Right.
learning how to use flow frames. And it was really just
Mhm.
like, it was a combination of figuring out how to use these platforms
Right.
and with a goal in mind of getting a clip together, at least enough to have a little bit of a teaser video. But then as we posted it, it was getting like not necessarily copyright strikes, but it kept getting put. We would post it on Twitter and tag the band, and they pull it down, and so
Oh,
we we
really?
stopped sharing it because I guess
Oh.
they didn't want us, doing what we were doing with it. So
But
they just wanted to do it.
usually they just tell you it's not a strike, but they tell you, hey,
Yeah, I
there's a
might be.
copyright problem, and then you can't monetize it. But the channel is too small to monetize anyway, so it's not really a
Yeah,
problem. You're not getting a strike; they just get the ad money, and you get nothing.
it was
But
something
there's no
like that.
problem
I
legally.
know. I post I when I posted it on Twitter, it got I got like I don't know what the word is, but I got like a message in my email saying like this video is being taken down and you're and I got banned from
Oh.
Twitter for like 3 days because I posted it.
Wow, so much
I
for the
was
freedom
really
of speech.
I was like, okay, I'm like I thought I had taken it down. Like we tried
And
to just
spanked
we
right
just wanted
away.
we were
Right.
hoping to just get a little bit of like love from the band, be like, hey, did you see that? We were hoping something
Right.
like that would come
But
into the
did you
video.
try to reach out to them?
Yeah. We sent it to them, and it all we kind of got. I mean, RJ might be able to be able to say if anything, if he got any response, but I don't think we did. So we just kind of moved up. But it was more to just like learn how to use Disco Diffusion, learn how to use masking and the rotor brush, and it was
Right.
just that driven purpose.
Yeah. Just for the chat, I have the music off for the video because, of course, of copyright striking. Because also there's a music copyright,
Yeah.
so I
So
can't play the music, but I can show the video. I think.
yeah, and we could post the links in the chat too if people want to listen to it. So what this is here, this is so Stable Diffusion ran a video contest of
Hmm.
taking Peter Gabriel's new album and
Oh, really?
doing videos, right? Yeah, so it
Okay.
was really fun. So I you had to do at least was it 2 minutes or a minute? I forget how long
Uh-huh.
of one of his songs and create use Stable Diffusion, use Deforum, use some Stable Diffusion based
Hmm.
platform to create the video. So
Awesome.
this is what I did. And some of the,
Hmm.
if anyone watched the contest, it was really awesome because, they took all these videos from this whole community and then 2 months later, Peter Gabriel jumped on the stream and they were on there for like 2 hours looking through all the finalists and
Hmm.
they played the finalist videos at his concert at the tour.
Ooh,
It was
nice.
super cool. Yeah. So it was fun
Right.
even working with this because I combined, automatic 1111,
Mm-hmm.
keyframing videos,
Mm-hmm.
Kyber, Gen 1, Gen 2. I combined like, I don't know, everything I could get my hands on just to kind of use it as an excuse to figure this stuff out, as I was
Mm.
learning, so I just threw it all in there and tried to have it make sense in the context of the message he was trying to convey
Right,
in the
right.
song, because he's so poetic and,
Mm.
so it was fun. And there's if you go onto the Stable Diffusion Discord, somewhere in there is all the results of the contest. And if you search
Mm.
YouTube as well, you look at Peter Gabriel Animation Challenge, you'll find some really incredible results.
Right, right. Crazy. Wow. And that was how long ago? What does it say here? Like this video was posted 2 months ago, but the contest was probably longer
Yeah,
ago.
let's see. The contest was May or June.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just a few months ago, but it was
Right.
tricky because at first the contest was only meant to be like 4 weeks, and then
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
halfway through the contest they extended it a month and a half. So then a bunch of like super duper video editors came in and started doing stuff, and kind of the little guys like me kind of we got we got pushed aside because some of the guys who have real music video editing backgrounds,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
then
mm-hmm.
they learn a little bit of Stable Diffusion, they're going to that gives them like unlimited superpowers where I don't have that
Right,
background, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a drag because some people took the time to stay within the confines of the 4 week
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course.
window.
Yeah.
But it was like I didn't care. I was happy to just have a reason to like hit this deadline, make something, get it done.
Right.
Otherwise, like, because I think with RJ and I, when we did our video, we worked on it for a
Mm-hmm.
couple of weeks, and then like I think like 5 months went by, we didn't even touch it. So
Right, right.
it was, yeah, it's
Interesting.
good to have those limitations, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. By the way, what is your like personal perspective on what you want to do with that, with AI, with video, things like that?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up as an artist. I went to
Mm-hmm.
school for fine arts, and then I found Flash. If anyone
Oh,
remembers what Flash
right, the
was,
Flash
if there's
animations,
any if
right?
there's any old school people here,
What was the series with the super brutal like animal this 2D cartoon with the brutal animals? Animal Friends. No, what was it called? Friends something.
oh, I don't
Do
know.
you remember that was like a Flash series on the internet done with Adobe Flash? Something
Uh,
Friends, and it was always super brutal, like really cute from the style, and then they like always killed each other really brutally in every show.
I
That
don't
was
know.
crazy, and it was one of the very one of the early, very successful shows done with Adobe Flash.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that doesn't
Happy
sound
Tree
familiar.
Friends, yes, Happy Tree Friends. There we go.
Oh, I don't know that.
You need to check that out. This is an amazing show.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I did Flash for.
Right.
I mean, I had a good career for about probably 12 years. I
Wow.
did Flash. I did movie sites and car sites, and
Mm-hmm,
it was
mm-hmm.
I did so much programming in ActionScript 3. It was crazy. And then
Mm.
of course Steve Jobs came along and put the nail in the coffin for Flash, and that changed. Then I went into front end programming. Did that
Mm-hmm.
for building apps and websites for years. I moved into the pharmaceutical
Right.
industry and
What was Flash
doing a lot of
replaced
that stuff.
with, by the way? Was it like After Effects or?
I don't think it was really replaced with anything other than like the web in general, like making things more web friendly on phones, right?
Oh, I
Like
see.
they
Okay,
wanted to
okay.
move into like I guess HTML5 really kind of
Hmm.
replaced Flash with CSS animations, but they kind
Right.
of they kind of started from scratch, like because a
Mm,
lot
yeah,
of the
that's
stuff you
true.
could do with
I mean, it was
CSS
kind of
easily
also the
replaced
end
that.
of these kind of animated websites that were a little bit like a movie
Oh
or like
yeah,
a 3D
yeah, it was.
space that was really popular back then. These full screen Flash
Mhm.
kind of animations, and now you don't see that anymore, right?
Yeah, you really don't. Yeah, you really don't see that as much. It was just a particular time in that for
Yeah,
that stuff. Yeah.
right.
but yeah, then after I started doing that stuff, of course, you experience burnout, the pandemic, right? That changed a lot of things for people. But then when I found out what DALL-E could do, right, that changed things for me. And then when I got my I started playing with Disco Diffusion, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." Even though it's really hard because of the Python scripts and whatnot. And then I got access to Midjourney, and that just turned my life upside down because even at the time it was still very abstract, and you could kind of see like, oh yeah, the words I typed, it kind of looked like an oil painting of a nice princess on a unicorn, blah blah blah. But then as it went on, it just it was like just a snowball effect, and reinvigorated my career or even just my feeling, my purpose as an artist or someone who wants to create stuff. It just changed things. I was like, I love this. I want to do this more. So since I got my Midjourney subscription, my initial invite, it was like they only had like 10,000 users at the time. It was still in free. It was still in free beta when I got to use it. And now I'm teaching. I have at my job, I do a lot of research and development for our teams. I work at a pharmaceutical company, IPG Health, and I do a lot of the teams come up with these big ideas, and then they come to our team and say, "Hey, can we make this possible? Can we do it this way? Is there something we're not thinking about? Maybe there's something else." I do a lot of quick prototypes and things like that. And AI has now just come in to be a new palette of choices to do stuff. And of course, once ChatGPT came around, it was like ChatGPT everything. So AI has just kind of turned our work upside down. But I've been helping creatives at my job to learn how to use Midjourney with like say ChatGPT to just
but what are they creating? Do they do advertisement or TV shows or what's the kind of?
They learn that it's everything, right? They want to learn how to do storyboarding. They want to learn how to create new assets, so they're not going to Getty and using the same types of photographs or artwork, of not necessarily artwork, but like photographs, right, for their storyboards and things like that. Creating, and just creating things from scratch, right? Because a lot of those Getty things it's a lot of the same stuff. So if you can envision, like I need a person sitting in a room holding a glass and looking out the window, they can create their own version of that. So we put together workshops at my job to help people just get started, because some of them just don't know where to start, especially because of Discord. If you've never used Discord before, having to learn that for the first time, that's a hurdle that they have to get over. So we put together just a series of like, this is how you get started, this is how you sign up, this is how you make your first prompt, this is how you can do some of that stuff. And of course there's a whole community of people out there, like guys like Nick Floats and other users that are doing great free Midjourney tutorials that I'll point them just to that, like, hey, check this guy out, he's got some really helpful stuff, follow him, follow this person, follow you for all the tips that you do with Automatic 1111. So that's what's great about these AI communities. You can go and learn as much or as little as you want, So I'm deep into just figuring out how to use a lot of these platforms, and then kind of saying, okay, this Gen 2 can do this particular thing right now, and I kind of put that to the side. And then if somebody asks me something, say, hey, can I create this kind of video or this kind of storyboard or something else, and then I think like, oh, what's my palette of choices? Let me look at what I have, and even by that time, like probably in the 2 weeks that we haven't spoken from the first time that we spoke, there's probably been a couple of platforms that have released something. I know even that Full Journey Discord that I was looking at, they released a whole new stack of features for their text to audio.
Right.
So it's like, it's almost impossible to keep up with this stuff, but it's fun trying.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting.
I don't know. Did that answer your question? I forget what your question was.
No, like let's just look what are you doing professionally with these kind of technologies? Because of course they all look amazing, but often, of course, the question is, what can I actually do with that, or is there a market for that, or stuff like that?
Yeah,
so
and you know what the trouble is now too, especially working in pharma, is the legal part. That question is still it's sort of unanswered.
But is there any case where anybody got sued or over anything, or is there just like the fear that could be someone's being sued?
I think I haven't heard of anything other than the big lawsuits, right? Or like Stable Diffusion is being sued by Getty or something like that. There's a couple of like class actions that are out there. I know that was in the Senate recently. They talked about it, but I haven't heard about any company being sued for an image that someone said, "Hey, that looks like the thing that I did. That's my piece." Blah blah blah. I haven't seen that specific use case, but I think it's more about the fear, and nobody knows how to circumvent that other than putting the onus on the client, saying, we're going to make this for you, we're going to use AI.
Right.
If something does happen, you own the responsibility, and that's where we have to leave it. So, but a lot of the clients might not care because they want to be first in line when it comes to creating stuff for their advertising platforms, right? They want to be able to say like, hey, I created this and I don't care. I'll pay for it later if something comes up, which at the rate that everything's going, I don't even know how they develop regulation around it. It's so scary to think about. But in the meantime, I'm happy to just play and figure stuff out and hope that, somebody smarter than me can figure that stuff out so we can all play safely.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like the legal thing is a big problem. Yeah, especially if you are in a commercial space, like with the movie studios, advertisement, stuff like that. If you're an indie artist, I don't think it's much of a problem with that. You might maybe get a takedown notice, but on what kind of base should that be? Because unless your content really looks exactly like another work, you can't copyright the style. The image looks different. So what kind of reason would they have for that? Maybe the creator of the model, but I think if a creator of a model would sue you for using the images created with that model commercially, it would be the end of their nobody would use that model anymore, right? So nobody would do that.
Yeah, like there was that South Park platform that came out.
Yes, right.
That was just ripe for a lawsuit, right?
Of course, yes.
Who's going to use that model to create a South Park episode for, unless it's for your own, just enjoyment at home?
Absolutely,
no one's going to use that model, create it, and try to sell it in whatever fashion they would. It's
right. I mean, it's like copyrighted characters or stuff like that. IPs from big companies, then that's a problem. I think it's still not a problem if you're a small artist, because, for example, fan art, you can do that in a small amount and sell them on Etsy and stuff like that. The big companies are not going to sue you for this. But of course, if you're going to sell then suddenly 10,000 copies of your poster, that's going to be a problem. Right. Yeah. But if you just it's a small bunch of images you sell, or if it's like a service you sell where you say, I make a nice image of, I don't know, Iron Man, but with your face on it, that shouldn't be a problem, I guess. Yeah, well, I'm not giving any legal advice, but as far as I know from what I have heard, the big companies, I think Nintendo is a little bit more aggressive about that. But for example, Star Wars or stuff like that, if you knit a Star Wars Yoda, you can sell it on Etsy and they're not gonna come after you because it's not doing any dent on their selling of merchandise and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah, well, what was good to see was when Adobe came out with Firefly, they're trying to do the right thing by, training on licensed material, all that stuff. So even though it's still in beta and it can't be commercialized yet, they're at least trying to, because I don't want that either. I don't want artists.
Right. Can it not be commercialized because they came out with a statement where they say if you have any troubles, we're going to help you in the courts?
Well, it just says if you go to the Firefly site, it says it's still in beta and anything they're creating at the moment can't be used commercially.
I see.
What it says on their site. So
right.
But by all means, everybody should go in and use it. So when it's ready to go, you'll be ahead of the curve as far as how to use it, because between Midjourney, Gen 2, Adobe Generative Fill, I mean, those few things right there, you got your hands full on creating all kinds of different content, right?
Right, absolutely.
That's just a few tools out of a dozen others that we could name that you could go down the rabbit hole and still not know everything about it. So just kicking the tires on all these things to get started is really important.
Right, yeah. Yeah, interesting. And there's so many new kind of opportunities for jobs coming out of that also. for abilities for people on know how to use it, know how to train models, come up with new product ideas, with new services, stuff like that. That is a huge market and a huge opportunity also right now for people getting started, because it's new for everybody. So if you're getting started right now and you develop your own workflow and get good at stuff and can help people with stuff, you can build a business around that. And it doesn't even require any kind of formal education, because it's so new. There is no formal education, right? So you can really break into an industry or things like that. So that's pretty good.
If you want to talk about creating a product, I found, I'm going to put this in our chat. I mentioned the Door Brothers earlier.
There we go.
So they created, I know they're partially responsible for this platform. I forget who's who, but they created this platform called Fantasia, and it's basically like an image-to-image type platform. And basically, it's going to they've created a product where you go up to this like photo booth, you take a picture with the webcam, and then they use prompting to turn you into an Egyptian or an ice princess or whatever, and you just walk up and take a quick picture, and they basically developed a product.
Right.
With innovative thinking and their own trained models based on stable diffusion, which is really great to see.
Interesting.
And it's similar to you see the TikTok filters, but that's inside a you're on your phone, and it's just one thing. Yeah. It's like a booth that can be set up at a party.
So the idea is to rent out these booths. That's the business concept.
Yeah, I think this is sort of brand new. I think.
Interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Felix might even be in the chat, because I know he watches your channel, or one of the guys. He could probably speak to it better. Because I know this is a new.
You know what? That sounds like an idea that is the most distant from what you would think would be interesting to do with AI, but at the same time it's a good concept because nobody's thinking about stuff like that. And I know a lot of I've seen events with these kind of photo booths and stuff like that. So that is still a very good idea, to go for a market, to go for a niche that nobody's going for, right? Rather than doing what everybody's thinking about. I would never have thought about doing a photo booth for parties with AI. But yeah, that's a great idea. Right?
The Felix is in the chat. He's
Hey, Felix is there. Hi. How are you doing? So that's pretty cool. It's very anything completely different than people would think about, but that's exactly where you find your niche, right? Where you can find your market. So that's crazy to do stuff like that. And also the interesting thing here is not every use of AI is for people who want to use AI. Most people just want to have the end result from what it can do. They don't want to have any contact with how it works and all the complex stuff. They just want to have a little bit of fun. And this is kind of an example for that. You have people on the party and they just want to have some fun pictures and goof around with that stuff. They don't need any interaction with AI or understand how it works. They just want to have some fun images. So this is a product completely for the end user who doesn't want to have any contact with the AI process itself, right? Because a lot of people think about making apps or something where you have to use it and adjust it and test it and stuff like that for yourself to get good images. But this is just for people who are at the party and want to have some nice images. So very, very different, right? That's interesting. Pretty cool.
If you can work your way into the wedding industry or Sweet 16s, where they're spending lots of money on extravagant photo booths and the 360 photo booths that they do. Everybody wants to use the new cool thing. So if you can figure out how to monetize this and put it into a package that can be rented easily and set up easily, you're gonna make a nice chunk of change if you can figure it out.
Absolutely. By the way, Felix, have you thought about using Roop or Roop? How do you pronounce that, by the way? Do you say also Roop?
I would say Roop. I'm saying Roop for now.
Okay, good. Because the images are very nice, but they also look very much like an AI character, not like the actual person. So with Roop, you could probably get the same image, but with something that looks a lot more like the person. And since you're using a camera anyways, you already have the face. Maybe you need some face tracking to crop out the face, or maybe you can use the complete picture of the person. I'm not quite sure about that, but you're using it. Okay, he's already using a Roop. Okay, right. Cool. I think it's some kind of filter. For some reason that annoys me. No, it's okay. If people think it's a filter or something, that's okay. They don't know. They don't need to know what it is or how it works.
I think too.
Right?
Yeah, I think too. In the
Like, why
moment,
should they care?
yeah, that they're it's more of the experience, I don't think that
Right.
they'll necessarily have the same discerning eye that we will, like that
Right.
no one's gonna
Like
run up and say,
if I
yeah,
watch
you
a
guys
movie,
should
I
use
don't
this.
know how the
Right.
effects are created. I just want to watch the
Right.
movie at that moment, right? What do
Yeah,
I
yeah,
care what a green screen is or how they do the CGI in the background?
yeah.
I'm just there to watch the new Marvel movie.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. There
Okay.
you go.
That is pretty cool. Very nice.
Yeah, they're
Interesting
fun.
to see that. Oh, there will also be a web service. Okay, cool. So people can upload that. Things like that. Yeah, there will be a lot of interesting like products and ideas and stuff like that. There's also, by the way, there is so much happening with AI in the background where you don't even realize that it is AI. Maybe a little bit of an example is these AI that build like a website or a landing page for you. So it doesn't always have to look like AI. You don't always have to feel like you're interacting with an AI as long as it's helping you in the background. And I think like I'm kind of convinced that probably the biggest part of AI use in the future is going to be AI that we don't realize is AI. It's just helping in the background, right? Like all these systems in your car that help you with parking and driving and navigation on Google Maps and stuff like that is a lot of that is AI or translation, subtitles, but you don't realize it. It doesn't have the fancy, oh, cool, it's AI kind of mark on it, but at the same time, it's a service that like a lot of people can use. So that is also a very good application when you do something where people don't even realize it. And it can be at the same time applicable to a lot of companies, to a lot of services, so you can license it out. That is a much, much bigger business than say, hey, what kind of art can I do with AI? That might be, I can sell some t-shirts of that, right? Because that's a small market and you have to find people who actually like that style. While the service, everybody's parking their car. So yeah, that's something that every car needs, right? So
Sure.
yeah, these kind of things. All right. That was an amazing conversation. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, I can
really,
tell.
really cool.
I love talking about this stuff. I'm very lucky that I get to do this stuff at work. I I also do it after work. It's like I said before, since the pandemic, I was burned out. I was thinking about going back to doing music full time because I play music on the weekends. I was
Right.
going to think about, and then when AI dropped, it just totally
Mm,
changed my life again. And I feel after having a 20-year career in building apps and all that,
right.
I thought maybe it's time to,
Mm,
switch it up and not do that anymore.
mm-hmm.
And then AI changed my life. So,
Right. By the
I
way,
just,
if people are really good or knowledgeable about AI, how would they approach a company and say, "Hey, I can do cool stuff," or "I can like consult you," or stuff like that? How do you contact them? Because you
yeah,
probably just you don't write
I
an
don't,
email or something, you know?
yeah, I don't know these days. I mean,
All right.
it feels different.
Mm-hmm.
Than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I got my job because I had worked at this company before as a freelancer doing Flash. This was like
Right.
years ago. I was building
Mm-hmm.
apps for their medical teams for conferences. It was like touchscreen stuff, and for doctors, it was very vanilla. Wasn't
Mm,
anything too crazy, but it was good money. Pharmaceuticals love to spend money, so it was an easy way to make cash. But I had
mm-hmm.
already worked for them.
Right.
But as far as you're saying, like, as far as getting a job doing AI for a company, is that what you're
Mm-hmm.
asking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you approach them?
yeah, I
Right.
don't know. It's a good question because
Mm-hmm.
it's still sort of new.
Mm-hmm.
I think like if my job ended tomorrow, I think I'd probably like to go into like consulting to help. I've really enjoyed teaching people what I know, even
Mm-hmm.
though I never considered myself a teacher, but I've realized recently that because I got sort of a head start
Right.
to a certain degree with like Midjourney and DALL-E, and I was able to get up on some of these platforms before most people bothered to use them, like especially the Disco Deforum Python scripts and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was just using it day and night, so I have a different perspective on it. And then when ChatGPT kind of brought AI to the forefront, even though it's AIs and machine learning have been around forever, um,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I would focus some of my abilities is just to teach people what I know and hope hope it's valuable to them.
Right.
But,
Right.
I think yeah, because AI is you could take the language part, right, and put that into one category, and you can take the art part, put that into category, and then it's worlds within worlds that you could probably find a job that is relative to what you're already doing, and figuring out AI and copywriting is going to probably do something like this, and I can show you, I can do this for you faster or more efficient or something. There's going to be that in every part of the industry. I think it's going to affect everybody. I think for the better. I'm one of those people that's I'd say 70%, and this is like just a number, but like hopeful about AI and about 30% scared of it because I don't know what's going to happen. But I like to think that the best of humanity will win in all of the AI stuff, because I think we get a little fear-mongered because of all of the Hollywood movies and Skynet and all that.
Right.
I think that scares people into thinking that I saw that in a movie once 20 years ago and now it's coming to life for real. I think that's fun to think about, but I don't put too much into it. But I do think because there are just bad people out there that they'll do bad things with it, and that's what kind of sucks. But I think the good will override the bad. That's my take. But yeah, as far as jobs, I mean, I think there's going to be tons of work for people to I think all of our job titles will change,
Right.
I think a lot of people will start crossing over into other fields and doing different things and having more hats that they can wear, because now, a copywriter that could, that has a really great visual mind, they got the words down, and they also have a great visual mind. Now they can create a storyboard with Midjourney and make something really beautiful, whereas before they had to like write everything out and then hire an artist, right? And not that I want to put actual storyboard artists out of work, but like the guy I mentioned before, those music video guys, like they already had all those capabilities and 20 years of making music videos. Teach them a little bit about Stable Diffusion and Warp Fusion. Now they're like super amplified at creating stuff. Whereas I don't know any. I can do some basic editing and I can do some pacing and stuff like that. And I'm a musician, so I have a little bit of that, but not to that extent. So I think everyone's going to be amplified in their own field and be able to just spread that out and to be doing other things.
Yeah, I think that is actually a very good point, because it's not enough that you just like can create some nice images on Midjourney, because basically everybody can do that. You actually have to understand a bit more about art and about like what makes good art or like good design, stuff like that, about the work process, on how it's working, on how what is seen as professional, how does it fit into the industry, because they also have their standards, stuff like that, to just look a little bit more into that, to be actually professional and not just create some nice stuff but then maybe nobody can use it, right? So there's kind of a lot of this kind of difference between being a hobbyist who does it for fun and being a professional who can do it on demand and can create a really nice quality, is to really understand what you're doing. And you still have to learn also a bit of the tools that are running in the background, right? So having a bit of understanding maybe of Blender, maybe of After Effects, if you want to do something with video and special effects and stuff like that, to know how it is actually done. Even though AI can do a lot of that stuff, but you still have to know how it's integrated into video, because it's not just going to be a Gen 2 video is going to suddenly be a scene in the next Marvel movie. That's not going to really happen. So it has to fit into the process. So I see some people, like just like a minority of people in my community, they're like, oh no, it's so complex and blah, and there's like 2 buttons more that I have to click. But if you really want to do it, go for it and really try to learn it, and really like it's everything is complex that is professional that you do for work, because the standards are high. And if you could, like, if it was so easy to do, people wouldn't earn a lot of money for doing it, right? So you still have to embrace that kind of complexity and also go beyond these kind of tools, not just use Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, but also go into Photoshop and learn about like For example, the different concepts of color, of composition, of light and shadow, all these kind of things. How do you build a scene? How do you make something dramatic? How do you create a relation between different characters? How do you for example, what are different camera angles you can have, right? You have subjective camera, objective camera, POV, all these kind of things, tracking shots, and all these kind of stuff that you can do. What are they? How are they used? Why are they used? So that actually fits. So when you go to a company, you can actually suggest things and how they work together to build a product, right? Because if you if you can just do a nice prompt, it might be good as a prompt engineer, right? So of course you're not going to be the art director who's deciding on everything, but to understand what you're doing is also important. And to know the other tools around that is also kind of important to understand the whole process to break into the industry, I think, right? Yeah. So it's more than just being good at Midjourney. I would really dig into the other areas and also see how it's professionally used. So you're just like more professional and can apply to the companies. And one thing I also thought about is you might, if you want to break into the industry, it's probably good if you start to post more on LinkedIn, which it sounds like it's not a social media page, but they actually have a stream like you have on Twitter. So you can post every day. You can write stories, you can post pictures and videos and stuff like that. And then people see what you do and they can address you, and you can have a profile in there, write about yourself a little bit, what you can do, stuff like that. So people can discover you. And there's a lot of headhunters on LinkedIn, and of course all the professionals, because it's just about business. So that might be also a good way to break into the industry and get recognized, right? Other than building a big social media following.
On all of them. I try to post on Twitter. I try to post on LinkedIn, even TikTok when I can. I'm pretty bad at it. I don't get to do it as much as everybody else does, but I try to get, just to keep it, because I don't have a portfolio site anymore really. So I try to just to keep the stuff that I'm making somewhere that I can go back and reference it later.
Right.
And that helps just from a historical point of view. But I think to go back to what you were talking about, I'm starting to see happening is there's going to be an efficiency expectation from some of the clients. Like right now, we're still on that like uprising of people learning ChatGPT and all these things and the mid-journeys and all that. And eventually they're going to be like, hey, you need to be able to do this stuff faster, right? Because everybody else can do it faster. So it's going to be like these. I think these big companies are kind of going to have a little bit of trouble because they're, some 3 or 4 person shop will come along and be able to do some of this stuff at a much faster, pace because they don't have the bureaucracy of the project manager and the production person and this, and then like 12 people on a project. Whereas you just have like 3 or 4 guys that are so agile and can move so quickly, and each guy can do coding and maybe a Blender and animation this and prompting, and Midjourney. So that's like a one-on-one thing. Like they're doing more Fusion and Deforum, and they have all these things under their belt, and they can pump out stuff quickly. I mean, it's one thing to go and make, like you said, like you can go into Midjourney and make a nice image, and it looks really nice. But it's another thing to use it as a tool in a 3-hour period where you have to put together a bunch of assets and maybe game assets and other things. Like, I mean, I'm just kind of saying things out loud, but using those things as a tool in a really effective manner that everybody else is also doing at the same time will be able to do. There's always going to be somebody faster, so you got to be able to have that edge. So,
right. Yeah. It's like, for example, if you have like advertisement. The advertisement creativity is very different from fine art or free art creativity, where a fine artist is about expressing their own style, and that is nice if you're an artist. But if you are applied arts, as it's known, like design and stuff like that, you have to be able to work in the style of the client. So they say, I want to have it in this style, so make me an advertisement. It has to look like a old French movie or stuff like that, or it has to be an illustration but in Japanese style. So you have to be able to produce something in that kind of style. It has to look good, and at the same time you have to understand for advertisement what kind of things work are appealing to the customer. The customer has to easily understand the story that you want to tell them and the product that you want to show. So you also need to know how to build these kind of visual lines inside of the picture so the people is not getting confused by the advertisement they're looking at, stuff like that. When we the McDonald's advertisement you showed before had a lot of interesting camera movement in there, and in this very short time it completely showed the product, the relation of the customers to the product, and a complete life story inside of that like 30-second clip that at the same time was completely appealing to Chinese New Year culture. So there was everything in there that you expect from a really good advertisement. So that is a lot of skill and experience and knowledge about how all of these kind of things work together. And then at the same time, it has to be something that everybody understands, like compared to free art. Like if people look at your advertisement and they have to figure out, they have to read 3 books to understand your message, it's not an advertisement, right?
Right.
You have to have someone who is like, has no education in art or culture or anything. They look at it and they say, yeah, that's cool. So for them, maybe it's not the envelope and the New Year's thing, it's the family thing. Oh, my daughter and blah, and we could go to McDonald's again because childhood memory, stuff like that. So you have to have different connection points on every level, and they all have to be very obvious to the viewer. So there's still a lot of like knowledge and experience involved to create these kind of things, and then also adapt to the wishes of the customers, right? So, yeah. So a little bit of like
been doing advertising for a long time. If they start, picking this stuff up, they can really, make themselves, even more valuable, because you can't buy that kind of experience, right? You can't buy 20 years of advertising experience,
Right.
So people that start using some of this AI stuff and mixing it in with their experience, we're going to start to see some really incredible stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait to see where this is going when like really creative people play with it and go to the next dimension, because a lot of the stuff we see right now is just what we have seen already, but done with AI. So it's not an actual new kind of thing or artistic thought or philosophy in there. It's kind of like the old thing, but with new technology, because we are still at this kind of birth rate, right? Like if you look at technology, mostly it goes through several phases of basically often what you have is the technology comes out, then there's a short phase where people are like, what the shit is this? I don't want to use that. Then people are getting super hyped. Then it's so hyped, and the trend of it, just using the technology is the cool thing. So you don't do anything new with it. You just use it and people are like, oh, wow, it's the new thing. Then it becomes super boring. People don't care about it anymore. And after that, when the technology is boring, is basically when it starts to actually be used in a creative way, because then it is separated from this aha effect of, wow, it's a new technology, and it's more like becoming a tool that has also settled down. So it is good enough, it is ripe enough, so it can actually be used for really distinct things. And people have the, how can I say, the attention more on the artistic content rather than on the flashy effect of the new technology, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the conversation that RJ and I had when we were working on that first video piece. We were, if you had a 4.5 minute music video of strictly warp fusion,
right,
it's sort of like, it's a little too much.
Right.
Knowing where to pepper it in to make it a little bit more exciting and using different techniques, I think that's a so we were trying to approach it from that angle, is just peppering it into the right spots. We only did like 40 seconds, but I think a 4.5 minute warp fusion videos. But that's why the 10-second clips on TikTok and stuff are nice, because they're just little little bits and pieces, but if you did that for 4 minutes straight, it's a bit much, right? So knowing how to use it, that comes with experience, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. Yeah, I can't really wait to see that. Especially like one of the sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. So I just wanted to ask, not that I'm getting hungry. I need to go.
Yes, we're going to end the stream also, because we're over 2 hours now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know how long the stream went. Now, I don't have to go just yet, but I just wanted to give myself an ETA.
Right. Yeah, no, that's completely okay, because we are at 2.5 hours so far. Usually the stream should go for 2 hours.
Okay.
Right, so that's completely okay. By the way, what does the chat say? Sorry, I didn't pay too much attention to the chat today. Vector piece and affinity design and texture each part with control and stable diffusion, 3D model and directing planner. So someone is talking about their art project. Many updates so often. Yeah, we are very much in the early phase of AI, and the aha factor is absolutely there, especially because the technology is developed right now, right? So I think when you, for example, if you look at the history of social media as it started at the beginning, and it was really like confusing and flashy at the start and all these kind of things, and actually used big in advertisement back in the day when like, what was it, like Burger King said to unfriend people on Facebook and then you get a free burger or something like that, and Facebook blocked that because everybody was unfriending everybody else, stuff like that. So when social media was big in advertisement, things like that. And the early beginnings of YouTube and stuff, where people tried out what can you do, what could be impressive, and it was mostly bad videos, stuff like that. And now it has become super, super professional to an extent where actually, and this is kind of interesting, social media is picking up on old TV concepts and copying old TV formats to make them YouTube, because again, this is something that has been proven to be appealing to millions of people. So a lot of the stuff, for example, if you think about Mr. Beast and stuff like that, it's kind of classic television what he is doing with these kind of, we have one group, we set them against the other group, and then it's kind of a cool show, and we film it in a kind of docu style, this kind of thing. And or there's these YouTube shows where people go and survive in the wild, this kind of thing. This is just like this show, I'm a star, get me out of here. What is it called in English? I don't know. Do you know that, where they go to the jungle camp or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many of those. I mean, Survivor was the first one that I can remember, but there's probably been a dozen offshoots of that idea since then.
Right. So it's coming really full circle now, where it's going back into the old media. With the formats, but also social media creators have figured out to a very, very high extent how to use social media and how to create the content also for the different screen ratios and stuff like that. So it has become extremely professional. So yeah, that's that. And we are now at the phase where this is a technology that is actually becoming part of the everyday life, and people are using it very creatively. While at the beginning it was just like wild experimentation and just a wow effect of, hey, there's a crazy guy with a high-pitched voice on YouTube. Okay, let's give him 1 million views because that's so cool, right? So that's interesting.
And it's funny because I remember when I first was telling all my teams about, hey, I just found out about this thing called DALL-E, and I found out about Midjourney.
Right.
And I was thinking, at some point, I had this thought that eventually it's going to turn into video. And we're eventually going, and this is like a year and a half ago, I was saying, like, eventually we're going to have video, and we're going to be able to walk up to some kiosk and say, I want to watch a Christopher Nolan type movie that stars Tom Cruise and Mickey Mouse about with an Empire Strikes Back vibe, and give it all these like things, and then in just a few seconds I'll get my own customized movie that even stars me, right, with face swapping or something. And I remember saying that and thinking like, that's probably true, but probably in 10 years or something. And I'm like, and now it's a year and a half later, and I'm like, wow, we're actually kind of close.
Right.
Actually closer than that. I thought it would be like way ahead in like years, and now it's like less than 2 years later, and it's like sort of almost like that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is really going fast.
Right. Sunsfire is saying I shouldn't keep you hungry. So if you need to get some food, please tell me, and I will keep the chat on alone, just talking to my community. So I don't want to keep you from your food.
No, I'm okay. I was just making plans.
Right. Okay, good.
Fine. I appreciate that though.
Saber says, I believe tools will become much easier, and everyone, even normal people, will be able to use that. Absolutely, yeah. Like there is always this kind of, I think, the competition between technology becoming more available to the public and people who are really good at it, pushing the envelope harder and harder, right? So, right, for example, right now you can do amazing photography just with your phone and video. But at the same time, you have people doing video. Like if you look at the new Marvel movies and stuff like that, of course, the technology has moved on from just using a camera, what we did in the past, and creating crazy, crazy visual effects and camera movements and all kinds of crazy movement of the actors and stuff like that. So the normal people can do now amazing high quality video that you can put on your screen, and it is 4K and everything looks nice. But at the same time, the professionals have pushed it to a level that, again, you can't do at the moment. Probably if you wait 10 years, we can all do with Runway amazing Marvel movies of that quality. But by then they probably have moved on to something else. Maybe then the movies are going to be VR and we are standing in them and being part of the actors and stuff like that. I don't know. But they certainly are going to push the envelope further and further. So it's always this kind of catching up to what you can do. But it's also good that it becomes more available because it enables more people to get started in it, right? This is something like a lot of people say when technology becomes too available, everything is going to be washed out because everybody's going to do these pictures. But that's not really true, because if you have like hundreds of millions of people creating images, there's a much, much higher chance to find people who are really good at it, and they will, after all, stand out. So no matter how many people, for example, play a guitar, there will always just be one AC/DC and always just be one, I don't know, other kind of rock star, because they become super popular with it, and the rest is just guitar players who play it in their free time, right? So it doesn't have any impact how many people do stuff, but it gives more chance, more availability to the people who can play with it and do something amazing with it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Musat says, so in conclusion, which app is best for generating AI videos today?
Oh boy,
difficult question.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's really the one that speaks to you, I think, right? Because they all offer. There's so many of them that offer different things, right? And I think any number of them can do something for you. So I think you pick one, try it out, see if it speaks to you. And they're all developing so quickly that I mean, Kyber came on the scene really fast, and I think they even have an update coming out called Motion that's going to change, because I know right now you can't really say. I think you could say like rotate or pan right or pan left, and it just does something simple. But I think they have. I'm not part of the alpha, but they have some sort of new feature that's going to let you do some more interesting animated.
Right.
I guess you'd say inside of Kyber. So.
Right.
And the fact that from Gen 1 to Gen 2, I mean, I can't believe how quickly how much better that got in such a short amount of time. And Gen 2 first came out, I didn't really know what to do with it. I mean, I could see the potential, but now it's just so beautiful, So,
right. And it like depends very much what you actually want to have as a result from the video and what the platform can actually do with AI at the moment, right?
Yeah.
So every platform really has their special things.
The artist, just because you have, just because you buy Photoshop and you buy After Effects and you buy a $6,000 machine, that's not going to make you any good. You can do. I've seen some artists that can paint the most beautiful painting with like crayons and crappy paint. It really depends. It's the idea now that this stuff is becoming democratized, and just about everybody can get access to it. It's the ideas are really what going to matter, and you kind of touched on that earlier. It's your ideas that are really going to shine through. So you can you can get the Luma app, which is free. Get if you do have an iPhone, you put it on your iPhone, film something, run it through Kyber, and you can make some really beautiful stuff. And that's just that's just two tools working together, but it's your idea that really shines through. Not everybody can do the spin now, and everybody can do a fake drone shot with that, but it's what story are you telling? It's that stuff is really going to matter now. The ideas that the humans come up with, not just
that's
tools themselves. Because just because someone has Photoshop doesn't make them, not really. If your ideas stink, This tool is really just going to amplify the fact that your idea stinks.
Yeah. It's
There's not
also
much about it, but that's kind
as soon as you try to create something specific and have a goal that you want to reach, you really feel very soon the limitations of the different tools, and then it's at that point you have to figure out what do I actually need, what is the, and also what can I live without. Right?
Yeah.
Because, for example, I know more about the image AI. So Midjourney can do amazingly beautiful images, but you have very little control over it. So if you want to have a certain composition and a certain body posture, stuff like that, you have to go with stable diffusion. So you might have to say, well, either I don't need that style, or I need to train my own models that can do that style, or I have to figure out LoRa's that can replicate that kind of look that I'm going for. But Midjourney is not going to help you create these specific compositions and body postures and stuff like that. So yeah, you can rule out by having goals and needing certain solutions. You can rule out tools you want to use. But at the same time, especially if you think about video, you have a lot of different scenes. So one tool might be good for one scene, and then for the next scene, you need a completely different tool because it can do that other stuff, right? So you want to always play around with like an assortment of different tools to help you get your vision across. Right.
Yeah, and I'm just putting now in the chat because this is perfect. I mean, there's so many of these artists that I follow. That you might have seen this guy. I think you say his name, Roop Rainisto, Roope Rainisto, and he just posted something just last week, and he's calling it Subway Story. It's about a 2.5-minute YouTube clip. He's got it on Twitter too. But if you look at the description, he's using Gen 2, Gen 1, 11 labs for voiceover.
Right.
He's got SDXL in there. He's using Bark. He's using Audio LM. He's using Legato Elements. He's using Midjourney, Kyber, Storyblocks,
right,
Premiere, After Effects, Adobe Audition. I mean, he's got a whole list of things, and he puts together this full story. And his storytelling techniques are really, really interesting. And he's someone I like to follow because he's
right.
creating unique pieces that I think show exactly what you can do when you get a little bit of a handle on these tools. You know, if you could say, okay, I know the limitation of this one, I know the limitation of this one, and I can fill in that gap with Hyper or with Gen 1, and I know, you know, once you start figuring out where those limitations are, you can start filling in with other pieces, and he does that beautifully with this piece. It's pretty wild.
Right.
And I like a lot of the stuff he does. It's pretty out there.
Yeah, it looks very good. Very nice. Yeah, and you can also see the different tools. Right. Some rats right now.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
I think it's a funny take on New York City, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
At least that's how I take it because I live in New York.
Right. Amazing.
Because New York City subway definitely has rats.
By the way, one thing I find interesting about most of these AI projects is they keep it 100% AI. I wonder why there's not more people who mix it with other stuff, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is knowing when to use both. I mean, in this particular example, I think he's just flexing his knowledge of all these different tools. It's pretty great.
Right.
But I'm sure if he wanted to turn it into something bigger, it would be pretty interesting. But again, it would be, maybe it's more work, right? It's easier.
Yeah.
Maybe it is easier to show. I'd be curious to know how much time he spent on rendering stuff, right? And seeing like, would it have been better if he went out and shot it, or could he have shot any? Maybe you can't shoot any of this stuff. Like how would you get some of these shots, right, without going and actually out in for all I know, Roop is at home and he can't go outside, and all he can do is render stuff. I don't know anything about the guy. So he could be someone that can't walk outside, right? I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. So it opens up a whole new world when you think of somebody that might be home and he's never touched a camera and he does everything through AI. So who knows?
Right. Yeah. I was also, because I did photo editing before that on my channel, Which is really cool, but at a certain point, like for example, I also did like challenges once in a while to give people like tasks what they should photograph and stuff like that. But of course, you always arrive at a level where, well, you only live at one place. You just can't take crazy photos. You can only like yeah, and if people don't have the movability at the same time, so what can they do? They can take a photo of their cat, they can maybe take a photo of their garden if they have it, and that's kind of it. They can go outside and photograph their street, but they can't like take super like amazing photos of any kind of photo model or some kind of crazy statue or canyon or what, because they're not there. So even though AI is not real photography, I think for photographers, you still can do a lot of stuff with that medium because you can't go outside. You can't like do all these kind of things, but now you can simulate it inside of AI. And yeah, it's an AI image, but still it can look like a photo and you can do amazing things you couldn't never imagine doing beforehand, right? So, and it's still an image. You still have the expressiveness, you just don't have the camera, right? So I think we also need to think about different mediums maybe in a different way of what is an actual image. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
does it matter if a photo comes out of a camera, if it's a good photo and it looks like really realistic? And why wouldn't that also be a really nice photo?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I think about this story that Roop is telling with his subway story and his rats. I mean, take that idea and, for somebody who's a script, maybe they're a script writer and they want to tell their story and they want to
Right.
get their movie made, right? So now he's
Right.
got this killer 2-minute AI driven thing that's completely computer generated, along with a script treatment that tells a larger story. And now he's done that all himself. And now he's like, you know what? I only had these tools available to me, but I'd like to shoot it in Vietnam and in New Zealand and in Australia.
Absolutely.
But I can't do that because I'm me. I only have a computer. But we could do that if you had a big budget to do something like that, right? So maybe that's another way in for some creators to do something like that, right? Because if you got a good story, that really
Absolutely, yeah.
really do it for you, not just the tools. So
Right. And I mean, a lot of artistic projects start like that, right? With films or with music, they just make on cheap software, they make like a sketch of that and say, hey, how would that be? Would you like that song? And then maybe some big artist picks it up and they create it in a big studio with actual musicians. But the sketch is still good enough to give you the idea of the song, right? So it doesn't have to be like finished.
Yeah, sometimes some of the charm is in that like first version, but like you said, combining it with other footage, it could be something bigger, but this is giving, unknown people opportunities that I don't think we've ever seen before on this scale.
Right.
I think it's really going to change things. Yeah, I just hope they figure out the writer's strike and all that stuff, because I don't know a lot about that. I don't know a lot about that industry, but it sounds like they haven't changed the rules in a really long time, and they're really screwing some people over, and they were wanting to scan people and keep it in perpetuity, and it's just like, come on, man, like what are you doing? Like, I think there's enough of this to go around that, like, if some of these actors and writers can't make a living, and you got these big executives.
It's strange. They make these billions on the box office, and then they suddenly don't have money anymore when it's time to pay.
They got to be careful too, because with all this AI stuff, like, who's to say that they can't invent an AI or a model that can do all of the work that one of these big executives can do?
Right. I think
get rid of those guys.
Yeah, I think right now or in the next years we probably see some new kind of Tarantino guys jump up, because the film industry has become so stale. Everybody wants to create these film universes, and with Marvel and Disney and all that kind of stuff becoming very, very repetitive and taking no risk because they know they make a lot of money with crappy movies, that you will see some people jump up with really nice ideas, and probably with the help of AI create really nice videos. And because now you can just like stream them online or put them on like online services like Netflix and stuff. You don't even need these big companies to get them to a huge audience and make money with a movie, right?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure in the next couple of years you will see some individuals really jump up and create really, really nice movies from a kind of indie perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd
Right.
be great.
All right. I think I'm gonna let you go, right? For the food.
Yeah, I could eat. You gonna go eat? Well, it's late by you. What time is it by you? It's got
It's almost 11 p.m. It's okay.
So you're ready for a midnight snack, right?
Probably yes. Yeah. Right. Oh man, I have to change my daily rhythm. Like the last, I think 6-7 days, I have been up all night and slept all day. It's really terrible right now. Yeah.
Yeah. The love of the art, right?
Right. You're playing around with stuff and all that kind of, and the time flies so fast. You sit there, think, oh, it's just a little bit, and suddenly it's like 5-6 in the morning.
Yeah,
it's
see
really
that
crazy.
sun come up, and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Cool, man. Yeah, well, this is great. I appreciate reaching out. This was completely.
Yeah, you were an amazing guest. It was super extra interesting. So that was
cool.
really,
Yeah,
really
I hope
nice.
Everybody got something out of it. I watch your channel all the time. I share it with all my colleagues, and especially with the automatic 1111 stuff and any of the little news clips. I mean, you do such a great job covering this stuff, so it's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do some kind of cooperation real soon.
Heck yeah. I'm happy to do that and do this anytime. I'm available. I'm just tired today because I play music. I did a show last night, so I'm super tired today. But I didn't want to miss this, so I'm glad I got to make it.
Right, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, I hope everybody got something out of it. I'm happy to share anything I get my hands on, and because it helps me learn too.
Right.
Usually reach out and
yeah, and I really want to do more about video AI in the future because that's such an interesting medium. And I think it has a lot longer way to go still than the image AI, because image AI is already like really far ahead with the stuff you can do in automatic 1111 and Midjourney. And video AI is still very experimental and has a lot of like new developments still happening. So that's a very, very interesting field to look into.
Yeah. When we do this again, I'll be able to prepare a little. This was sort of off the fly based off our last conversation, but if I know when we're going to do it again, I can prepare a little bit more, do some demos, and have a bit more streamlined, so we're not having so much trouble with the startup time and figuring out how to do all that.
Right. Awesome. Okay, no problem.
This went well.
Yeah, cool, and I'm gonna write you tomorrow about like a corporation or things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, secret project.
Right, secret project. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about that too.
Cool.
Okay, perfect.
Good. All right. Cool.
Good.
All right.
Thank you very much
for having me. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Have a good night or a good day. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Sir. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, there we go. That was really, really interesting. Let me put my camera over here. Not my camera, but my screen, so I can see that. And then also your messages. Sorry, I was like so deep in the conversation. Didn't read too much of the chat today. 1 second. Come on. There we go. Okay, cool. So we can go a little bit longer, couple of minutes. So that was really interesting. That was a very, very nice conversation, and so cool to also look into the minds of other people. Yeah, I will have more guests. I will also watch back the stream, and I hope that the quality is good enough from the stream today, which capturing Google Meet. I hope that was good. I didn't expect that the screen sharing of his side is not going to be that good, which kind of looks like a slideshow, but with sending the links, that is still a good way. Maybe we're going to do it with a different software next time, maybe Zoom or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, but it was really, really interesting. And yeah, there's so much potential in all of these kind of things, right? I'm really sorry for the food comment. No, don't worry about that. That was funny. I was also like, I was too deep in the conversation, so maybe he wanted to go, and I was just like coming with one question after another. That's completely okay. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that is so crazy that you can do all these kind of like short clips, cut them together to a scene, and it's so easy also, right? If you build a little bit of a storyboard with Midjourney with Stable Diffusion, and then you can use it as an image input to render the scenes on Runway or Pika Labs, where Pika Labs right now also has the ability to write a text prompt to the image, which Gen 2 cannot do right now. So you have a little bit more control over that, and then you can like just in an evening you can create a short video with different scenes, stuff like that, and you can go to different online pages to get some sound effects, to get some music that you can use. You can go to 11 Labs or other pages to get some AI voices for that, right? So there's a lot of potential in there, right? Did I miss it all? Yeah, we are right at the end, but you can rewatch it, right? So there's no problem. When the stream ends, you can still look at it, right? It looked like a slideshow because it's upload speed. That might be the upload speed, although his camera was always fluent. So I might think it also has to do something with the how Google Meet captures it. And by the way, like this is the strange thing. I bought Google Meet for a year. So I can do like endless long sessions, and I thought the recording is gonna be 1080p. It's only 720p, which is really disappointing. But on the other hand, now I have a 2 terabyte Google Drive, which probably I don't really need. But anyways, it feels like okay, I got something out of it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, it's all super interesting, and I thought this is also good to invite someone to speak about these topics, to get kind of an outside perspective, a different perspective that I have on these kind of things, and also have a conversation, which is really cool to get some different I feel like a conversation is easier to listen to than just me talking for 2 hours, right? Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I will try for next time that you can upload videos and we can look at your videos, or maybe there's another way where you can link the videos and we can look at that. Yeah, we will figure that out for next time, right? I've been using AI to make background visuals for DJs, loving the full journey at the moment. Interesting. Okay, I will also look at full journey because I didn't know they make videos. I thought it's just audio. Interesting, so I will check that out. DJ background visuals is also very nice, really cool. Yeah, to do the kind of you're so to speak, you're a VJ, right? Is that still a term? Do people still say VJ, or was it just at the beginning of doing that? Pioka AI on Discord. No, Pika Labs. Yeah. I can post a link if you want to. 1 second for their server invite link. If I find it, there we go. So this is the invite link for the Pika Labs, and then also here is an invite link for Full Journey. There we go. Wait, so this is Full Journey. There you go. And the other one that I posted before is Pika Labs. You can join there if you want to. By the way, I also have a Discord. You can also join there if you want to. Oh, okay. There you go. This is my Discord. I'm not on there very often, to be honest. But if you want to, you can join. There's a very nice community on there. A very helpful community also. All right, my friends. So yeah, that's basically it for today. It was really a pleasure. It was very interesting. I hope it was also very interesting for you to look into all these AI tools, video AI tools. And yeah, I will make a video also about a lot of them soonish, starting next week, basically, to show you more about that kind of video tools, because that is really interesting to do. And yeah, it has grown now to a stage where it's actually interesting to play around with that and get results and like create something with that. All right, So yeah, I would say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good experience. And yeah, see you tomorrow for my next tutorial. Thank you very much. It was Luma AI gave me some ideas. Yeah, Luma AI is the one where you can have like this fake drone shot, right? Thank you very much, Drew. Thank you. Buzzing after watching this live. Thank you. Thank you, Cass. That's amazing. Yeah, it's always like he's also very inspirational with all the things he's talking about. So that was a really very nice overview. Okay. Let me find that. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.